Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today, Lord. We ask you to be with us as we present our do the county's business. And Lord, we just ask you to be with those that are ailing and just fighting the sickness that's been going around. And Lord, we just ask you to continue to keep us mindful of serving in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Everybody, appreciate you all being here. Okay, visitors and citizens forum. At this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action could be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. No discussion. Okay. Court discussing whether or consider action to be taken on the following. Start with inter-precinct project schedule and staffing.
Chip sealer out there.
Okay. I guess this would be a good time to talk about the earthquakes and what's going on with that. You know, I did the disaster declaration the other day, and we've asked people to go to the ISTAT and report any damage they have. We're still asking people to do that. As of this morning, there were 66 different reports on there from damage throughout Scurry County, different businesses and homes, from minor to pretty major. So still ask people to go to our website and click on that. And I've set up a meeting for Friday to see if we want to extend that disaster declaration. So that will be at 10 o'clock.
And we have checked all bridges in precinct 1, and then we had a call from TxDOT that they were going to go back and recheck. So
Yeah.
hopefully all bridges are safe to travel.
Well, last time I talked to Carrie Saturday, they had checked all but a few of them, and they all looked good so far.
That's what I saw.
Except the Avenue E Bridge, but that's a different story.
Earthquake didn't do that.
She said it did. She wanted FEMA to buy the bridge.
That'd be good. That'd be good. We'd meet our threshold. Scurry County threshold for damages is 73,000. So I think we're there. And then I asked him what the threshold was for the state. For the state, it's 53 million. So I don't know if it will get there.
Yeah, and FYI, in case you don't
To
know,
get
your
FEMA.
homeowners doesn't cover.
Your homeowners doesn't cover.
So you better call and ask for some if you're near if your house is being shook. Our house certainly has been.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I got one guy that his sleeping fell in Gordo.
Oh, wow.
That's a metal house. His house is metal.
It's,
That's crazy.
it is.
The frame is all metal.
Okay, anything else under in precinct projects? Okay. Let's move on to the asphalt zipper. What did y'all decide about?
We have been very busy chip sealing and we have not taken a video of that yet to find out what the trading value of those machines would be. So no action, please.
Okay. All right. Mechanical service proposals. Did y'all get an opportunity to look at those?
Is this for every air conditioner?
Every air conditioner at certain facilities.
Because I thought we decided to, just for the, like the cooling towers and one more, not just the regular ACs.
Yeah, I guess they decided to put in a quote for all of them.
Well, that's taking business away from the local people.
Okay.
Now, I can see them doing the cooling towers and all that, but not just the regular ACs.
Okay. Thoughts on that? Do you want just quotes on that, or do you want to?
Yeah, I would like,
Okay, so rebid it. Y'all's thoughts?
That's fine with me. I really, I know the sheriff didn't want it in his purview because he said that they're able to, for the cost, they're able to get it done. And so they felt like it was too much.
So just the courthouse then, or, because those quotes were what, 79,000 for one, and then
Yeah.
just 20 something. A partial with Carrie was 20 something and the full was 40. Just courthouse then?
The courthouse has just normal air conditioning systems on them except the heater that's done with two Tanaki tankless water heaters.
Todd, do you have any input?
Yeah, for the courthouse and the annex,
Now the annex has
it's,
cooling tower.
if you take away the other that was added to it, it's about 30,000. The quote that I got for full coverage. I have the representatives from each company if you want to hear what they have to say. They can explain it and answer questions. But yeah, the reason I sought this out was because if I'm trying to get a quick response during a real bad cold front or something, or if everybody's AC is going out, it's hard to do. So if you have a service company, you can have a very quick response. You can have everything that you need pretty quick. Another thing is getting someone to work on the heating and cooling that's that has the hydronic is also difficult. In fact, your local heating and air people won't work on it. So
You're mainly talking about what's there at the annex.
not just there, but here.
I mean, here, the only thing you have a boiler, considered to be a boiler, is two instantaneous water heaters, right?
Yeah, all the valves that are involved and everything that's tied in with that, yes.
In order to get the heating. It's just hydronics, right?
Right.
Heating water and running it through a air cool, air fan.
Mhm. So if you're,
So is there a guarantee that you're saying? A guarantee of time to be here?
I haven't seen a guarantee, but I've been told that the response can be within a 24-hour period.
I would think that would need to be in writing.
but you had any problem getting this regular ACs fixed pretty quick, haven't you?
Not everywhere else. When it comes to the library and the senior center and all these others, but here it can be a problem, and at the annex as well, because of those systems.
Well, I know none of them want to work on those systems.
Y'all have any questions for the contractors? Scurry Services or Johnson Controls, since they are here?
So what's y'all's response time?
Either of you.
Both companies.
Yeah, I'd love to get a chance to explain our programs. You know, there's some details and some nuances. I have two options for three facilities, right? The courthouse, annex, the sheriff's department, the sheriff law enforcement center. And so I'd love to get a chance, if you'd be willing to hear kind of about our programs.
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys have your copies with you. Commissioners, we appreciate the opportunity and Todd reaching out to us about this. We feel like we are local. We have 18 service techs within 100 miles of Abilene. And we take care of both the school district and the hospital under these programs in town here. And so I'd like to, if you'd be willing, to open up some of these and kind of read through them a little bit. The basic, yeah, you bet. So here's the annex, full coverage, partial coverage. And then we can start in on that one if you'd like. I think we also have copies. So he's right, there's a chill water system for building cooling and heating with boilers, multi-zone air handlers. And so the idea with the partial coverage is, I think it's page 11, I believe, is in the partial coverage, we're including manufactured recommended preventative maintenance. So it goes beyond just how quick can a guy get out here for service, but actually doing the recommended maintenance on these systems per manufacturer's recommendations, right? So on that one in particular, you know, we have obviously a chill water system. I don't have that copy right here in front of me, but we're gonna walk through and do the maintenance as per manufacturer recommendations there, and cleaning coils, checking pressures, pulling logs, various maintenance items there. Of course, that includes the filters on a quarterly basis, you know, belts on the air handlers, things like that, the basic maintenance. But and then with that, the partial coverage, if there are service calls, we don't guarantee response time. We can promise that you'll have a response from our service manager. In fact, I'm calling Todd and speaking with him about, hey, what's the emergency on this one, right? Can this wait till tomorrow? Is this the same day type of instance, right? But we certainly have the staff to take care of where we need to. The partial coverage, the service calls are at a 15% discount on the labor rate. Okay, so in Abilene territory, Snyder, and greater area here, it's $115 an hour. You receive a 15% discount on the partial coverage, so it's $99.50 that we offer on that. And so that's kind of some perks. You become a priority response customer with us, right? Signing one of these agreements. And so even quicker response time than somebody off the street. The full coverage variation changes a little bit in the sense that we can look at page 10 on the terms and conditions, but what we do there is we cover maintainable and moving components. So now service calls are covered as part of that. So it's all budgeted in there. So you don't, hey, service call, come out and find a compressor fail in the chiller. The compressor is covered with the refrigerator and everything to keep the system running. So it's kind of a insurance policy, if you will, on the full coverage, with just quarterly premiums, if you will, for the month, the quarterly payments. So you can see the tasking in every single agreement. We came out at no charge to the county and got a detailed equipment list, make, model, serial, age. This is part of what we help county do, budget for replacements, work with budgets, come and meet with you guys about plans, what units giving us trouble throughout the years, things like that, right? Expenses, we can track expenses on each asset. And so that's kind of the idea. With either coverage, you get that benefit as far as we're not a Fortune 500 company, but we're 65 person company, like I said, local, family owned and operated still, corporate offices in Abilene. That's a little bit about who we are. So that's the annex. You have that one. And then there's the same kind of program options for both the courthouse and the law enforcement center. And here's kind of We have another breakdown page. I think you guys have this in your packets, but, I think is we could read all these off, but again, annex has a partial coverage option and then a full coverage option. Courthouse and sheriff's department, both same type of programs. So, that's kind of the idea. Goes, like I said, goes a little bit above and beyond, just the service calls. We certainly have all the licensing certifications to take care of all this type of equipment. The hospital has far more advanced equipment than you guys do. You just really, like you said, that the chiller at the annex is maybe the most sophisticated, if you will, piece of equipment. Law enforcement center has some bigger systems, but you know, it's kind of our pitch, our thoughts on that.
I'm going to tap on the equipment asset. During the equipment asset, you need to, once we get to the point of equipment starts going down, there's more issues into it. I actually get with Todd and start going through the numbers with them. Go in and provide him with, hey, this is what we have. And my guys go through a detailed log, and logging everything on the phone. So we actually see this log as things are being set up. So our service manager goes through, if he sees any red flags, he brings it to my attention. And I'll prime him and get him ready to go with all the log information he needs to say, hey, this one does qualify for a replacement, or hey, this is what we need to do next, or forecast it for the next quarter. So
Kind of picture ourselves as the consultant when it comes to HVAC as well. We'd love to work with the county on that. I know a lot of the systems here are getting pretty aged as well, right? So that's kind of the idea. I think they're all at least 13, 14 years old. And so trying to kind of give you guys some budgeted items as far as service calls and maintenance and labor goes for the coming years. And it's just a 1-year agreement. So we can sit back here again next year and rehash and say, maybe this wasn't worth it, or maybe it has served the county well. There's no long-term time commitments. We're gonna add something, building automation and control systems, that's something we do, get parts for, can work with. And so kind of wanted we're actually a Distech dealer rep, but, most all systems we can work with and work on. So, anyway, any questions or?
So your service calls, is it like a 2-hour minimum or?
No, sir, no 2-hour minimum. I mean, we do have the trip up, right? So for Narnary, we looked at it, we kind of ran some numbers with my Abilene general manager. And I mean, we have at least a guy here 3 to 4 days a week with one of the other customers we have. We have an ice machine servicing business as well. So we have a lot of leased ice machines up in this part of the country as well. So we're almost here every day anyway.
But if you come from Abilene, you start, when do you do that?
Yes, sir. Again, unless we have some other work, we can, parlay it together, but that is, yes, sir. I did get.
we do try to strategize on, where we're going to be at. So if we know we're going to be in this area, we do strategize on where we need to charge on that stuff. So
We're only commercial and industrial. You can see our type A license. We don't do much residential at all in terms of family kind of back home, but commercial industrial only. Guys have been to classes on these chillers and machines and so certified. We think we're the largest commercial service provider in 100-mile radius, certainly. So we'd love to, I think we gave Todd some references as well to call and check on. And we worked with Clay Cade at the school district, and then of course everybody at the hospital there. But they do the full coverage option, and the school only does the partial coverage. So only some equipment there at the school, not everything.
In this, just read, you talks about it, and it's checked off as washing the economizer filters. We've never had the economizer to actually work. Is that something that your expertise in economizers and you're able to make them work?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we would just have to work with Todd and see what has that issue been. I don't know exactly which building or piece is it here.
You're right.
So maybe some fresh air you're working on. I think it's mostly split systems, like DX split systems. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is that they're furnaces. So you're actually getting building heat, gas heat, not the hot water heater is your domestic water. So and we can work on those. That's not on the list because we didn't know about it, but mechanical equipment, the climate cooling is on the list, everything on
The
that.
whole idea was to bring fresh air in the morning when it's hot.
Yeah.
During the summertime and
keep it
allow that to stop having to use the air conditioning so much. And
Yeah.
they the people that installed them said they could make them work. They never did. I
certainly,
said they still don't work.
No.
Is that right, Todd?
No, they,
We never were.
we've gotten by without it.
that would certainly be something we would want to tackle right away, you bet. That almost becomes a life safety thing, but certainly getting fresh air in the building is important, you know, so. This is my card. I'll pass a couple out. I'm JT Carey, and father started the company in '94, and the 30-year anniversary this year, and Mason's the regional account executive right here in West Texas as well. But that's interesting. I'd like to know what the problem has been there and try to see how we can get that resolved.
Actuators, I believe.
Yeah.
Was the main problem.
Faulty ones gonna be.
They just were never able to.
I think there's control in this building with just thermostats in the space, so it hasn't been on pneumatics or anything like that.
I think that would not be, those are pneumatic. Where the actuators are. But they tried. Cost a lot of money, but it never did work.
Right. So just want to clarify, two options for both. I don't know if we can get like maybe a summary page sent over, if that would maybe help, get that to Todd for you guys or something like that, but 3 different buildings, 2 option partial coverage and full coverage on each one of those.
Did you send over an option for all 3, right?
Yes.
Individually.
Right. Oh, you want to put them together?
No, I was.
Oh, you want them individually? Yes, sir.
I was asking if that's the way you sent it over, was all 3 of them?
Yeah.
One price?
Yeah, I broke them all down. So each location has its own price itself. That way, if there's any kind of changes, like we want to just take the sheriff off, we can actually do that in an easier process than trying to redo that whole business. And doing the whole process.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand this. This one is Sheriff's Department. It would be $27,000 a year for the Sheriff's Department.
27620 partial coverage, yes, sir. Yeah, that's the preventative maintenance.
Okay, and then, I don't have the others in front of me, the annex and the courthouse partial.
The partial, should have them all. Courthouse partial. You just want the numbers?
Yeah, just.
Oh, there's the number, sorry. Courthouse partial, 9,920 annually.
Okay.
We already said Sheriff's Department was 27,620 annually. And then the annex partial coverage, 5,440 annually.
Okay. And then, let's go ahead and do the full coverage on
Okay,
that. So,
yes, sir. Annex, full coverage annually, 12,460.
Okay.
Courthouse, full coverage annually, 18,480. Sheriff Department, full coverage annually, 49,840. If you guys are interested in the full coverage, we can get more into details there. Just like any insurance program, there are small things that are not covered, right? So, for example,
Earthquake,
Earthquake would be a good one. Accident nature of any kind. We're coming up on a big government regulatory changes with the refrigerants, right? So,
Which you probably heard of.
that you probably know a lot about, yes, the R22, it's been phased out for a long time, but again, another item we'd like to be a consultant with the county about is those kind of things change constantly. New administrations come in and, those rules can change again. So some of that, like obsolescence or governmentary changes, that would be something that would not be covered, right? If they say, hey, we cannot work on R22 at all anymore. There's nothing I can do to cover that under full coverage, right? Other than that, it's one of those things that it's kind of a blanket coverage, and it's kind of an insurance policy for you guys, and you can kind of plan. And if there ever does come up a time when there's something, we get to a service call, we find that this item would not be covered under our full coverage, then we'll certainly discuss with Todd before we go forward and bill you more than the full coverage, right? I mean, we would always want to consult with you and say, here's a proposal for that or something like that, freezing weather causes the chiller lines to bust or something, then we propose that to you on a separate fixed price.
I stay for me, who I take care of the West Texas area, I do stay very attuned to my guys, and you can probably every time I talk, how much I call them on the regular basis, just to make sure everything's going well, so.
Basically kind of your dedicated account rep and so.
I'm assuming that you said the chiller lines freeze and bust. I assume that y'all know the amount of insulation it would take for a adverse weather condition here that's not normal.
Yeah,
How much insulation it would take to stop that from happening.
that was something too on our maintenance visits of assessing that and kind of, since we're coming all new into this, kind of making sure that it has what it needs, but, yes, sir.
Any questions?
Idea, a lot of times for people in Snyder or places a little further out from our main home base in Abilene is the full coverage. You can kind of, I think maybe like Mr. Scott alluded to, that there might be mileage charges or some extra labor of getting out here. So the full coverage, you don't ever have any of that, right? So it's all included today.
The reason why a lot of my listings is groups up here on the north side do the full coverage, so they understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know if they've got to replace an air conditioner, it's 13 or 14,000. And they've had to replace a few over the last few years. But it's not that big. We talked about it. Johnson Controls, yeah. I'll let you have the same opportunity.
Thank you for having us today. Landon's gonna pass out some proposals if y'all don't have a copy. My name is Jody Langley. I'm the market director for West Texas. Our home base is out of Lubbock for West Texas. Johnson Controls, a little history about us. Next year will be 140 years that we've been in business. We're a global company. In Lubbock in West Texas, we have been in business out here. Our office opened in 1953. Got a total of 68 employees, 25 mechanics and technicians out in the field spread across West Texas. A lot of them are down here in this area. Also brought Mark Lance, who is my truck-based service manager. He's over the gentleman in the field, as well as Landon Freeland. Landon has been working with Todd a lot down here through this process. But I thank you for your time today and letting us answer some questions that you may have. I've also put in there an organizational chart of our organization above me, the support that we have for the county, up to the VP level within our company that knows that we're here today and willing to support you guys. So thank you for your time. I'll let Mark talk a little bit about the service side and his people and their expertise.
So I have 24 people on the ground. I have a mechanical team, a control team, and an industrial team. So we have 10,000 square miles of West Texas. So a lot of
Small area.
small area. So when you're talking Johnson Controls, we own York, and we also have the controls side of things, which you have at your facility at the annex building. So that's something that we specialize on and pride ourselves on with integrity to make sure you guys are taken care of. That's why a lot of our top customers like Texas Tech, University, Midland Memorial Hospital trust us to take care of their facilities at high level. We also provide an overview in terms of budget allocation for what you guys need to cover to give you guys clear and concise projections of what needs to be addressed and fixed, along with service reports. When my guys are on site, they assess every little single thing about each unit and then provide you with a service report and then we discuss it. I have 2 TTLs underneath me, so they're in charge of individual teams, that's controls and mechanical. So their individual jobs are to provide me clear and concise updates as to what our technicians found on your facility so that we can assess what needs to be addressed in a timely fashion.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, anybody? How often do y'all come to Snyder?
My wife's family has a ranch just down the road, so I'm here checking cows a lot. Always use a good excuse to come see Todd and go see Gary over there, but we're in Sweetwater constantly, so I'm probably here twice a week. But Mark's team is here on pretty much a daily basis. We've done a lot of work at the annex itself and a lot of our systems over there. And I'm gonna let Mark talk a little bit just about the chiller that's over there. That's a York chiller. That's our line. We rep everything, but the experts in York.
So we own York, so we are the manufacturer. So all of our guys are up to date on their training. They get quarterly trainings. These are highly skilled, highly trained individuals. So we don't hire the best of the best.
We're never the cheapest guy in the room, but we kind of view our relationship as a partnership moving forward. There's a reason we represented Texas Tech for a long time. We represented these high-level customers, Lubbock County, Midland County. We believe that the efficiencies we can provide, and visiting with Gary at the jail, I know that the sheriff had talked about maybe being able to maintain that themselves, but I walked through every piece of equipment with Gary. He's an older gentleman. It's hard for him to get in some of those spaces. I jumped up in the ceiling, Gary, moved some ceiling tiles, and we had a good time, but there's a lot of money in equipment over there. It's around 10 years old at this point, starting to age, and so ultimately the price tag here and the lead times being what they are, ultimately could be a big deal if something were to go down. And that's why we offer that high level partnership, not only for the budget moving forward, but for maintaining what is already installed.
One important thing to note is that the annex, the York chiller, that is our line. We manufacture it, but also the control system that Todd looks at every day is Metasys. That's also our system. So it's really important, and we've got a mechanic on the ground. We've got mechanics that can come assess the chiller. If it happens to be a control problem, we've got that guy as well. They can be there at the same time and work hand in hand.
I noticed in your supplemental price and payment terms, year one is one price, year two goes up over 5,000, year three goes up over 5,000. Is that, I mean, that's a pretty big jump each year.
So we put together an option for a 3-year contract. We understand it could just be 1 year. We just want to give you the option. Those rates are negotiable. Corporate gives us a certain policy that we need to go by, but I get to make that ultimate decision if we're awarded this first year that we can renegotiate. A lot of that is, as we all know, post-COVID, everything's become more expensive, labor, parts, everything. But that's negotiable. You're on.
Okay. Thank you. Y'all have any more questions for Josh?
With you installing the unit there at the chiller there at the annex, and then you have adverse weather and the lines bust, is that on us or y'all?
So if it's a freeze protection, so our chillers have freeze protection protocol, programming built in through our control system. If it's something that our protocol and our freeze protection does not cover, it's all on us. Okay? We've had some pretty harsh winters lately. I think 2 years ago, if you had some problems with freezing.
About 5 years ago.
Not recently.
So if it's an insulation matter, we didn't install it. That's it. We sold the equipment. I don't know who the mechanical contractor was that installed it, but we're more than happy to help.
It wasn't, who installed the chiller?
Do you remember who installed that one?
City mechanical did a lot of that work.
Put the lines in the insulation on the lines?
And I don't know if they did everything, but they did most.
Typically, they do it. We're very good partners with Hub City, so in that case, absolutely, I can get with the owner. Hub City will work with you guys.
You mentioned several and you used past tense, like Texas Tech and some of the others that you had contracts with. Do you still have
Currently,
contracts?
Yes, currently, yes.
Okay.
We've been servicing Texas Tech for over 70 years.
You serviced Western Texas College at one time,
Yes, sir.
but you don't today, right?
So TDI has Western Texas College. We still work on their control system there because that's our control system, but the mechanical portion, they brought TDI in.
That's one thing I don't like myself, is bringing in proprietary equipment you can't get here and nobody can work on it. I think we've actually had that to happen in the past. And so that's, not showing up whenever it's your proprietary equipment and it's freezing outside is not really something that we're interested in. And if you're got a piece of equipment that no one else can work on except y'all, then there needs to be, you can't get here, there needs to be an allowance for that.
So
Somehow.
I think one of the first questions before Carry Services got up here was response time, okay? Our response time for out here, like I said, we've got guys here just about every day. One of our top technicians that works on our medicines control system came to us from Maryland, worked on buildings such as the Pentagon and the White House and the Capitol building. He is just the best of the best. Our response time on the control side, if you have a controls issue, we'll be here within 24 hours, period, if not sooner.
Yeah, I don't think that happened the one time I'm speaking of, but
There's
everybody has glitches, I understand that, but it's.
Our team has grown, I've been with Johnson Controls 6 years, our team has grown from about 12 to now 25, and we're continuing to grow, because the 110,000 square miles is a lot, right? So we're trying to cover a lot more, and still building that base of customers.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing, does that cover all of the units, even the smaller units, this pricing?
Yes, sir. So that covers all 3 sites and all units. If you'd like it broken down into other sites, I think, Todd, we've given you a price for the annex and the courthouse only.
Okay.
If you want it broken down in different ways, we can break it down however you'd like.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. One of the things we've been discussing is aging of facilities and vehicles and keeping up with that. So, what are your thoughts on this today? Do you want to do, are you discuss? Cutting out the small ones.
I'd still like to cut out the small ones.
I certainly believe that the sheriff's office should be cut out. So that would leave the annex and the courthouse and just those areas in which we can't get level coverage. That's my theory.
I hadn't talked to Craig, but I think he has, and so I believe with Terry and both, so just we can go out with them and see what we can come up with.
So look at just coverage for annex and courthouse. Are there smaller units at annex and courthouse? It's just the large.
I think just there, now here at the courthouse areas. I think the only thing that these guys locally don't want to work on are the instantaneous water heaters and the valves controls for them. Isn't that right, Todd? They can handle everything else.
Yes, I've used them for everything else. Top 3 floors are controlled by the top floor.
Yeah.
So it's just the bottom floor where you have, just regular furnace.
Sure.
And AC units. Well, actually AC units for every one of them, but as far as the heating goes, just the top 3 floors.
So Johnson Controls, your pricing here includes all 3? Or, okay.
Yeah, and they sent another one
For just the annex and the courthouse. I bet it's for everything though, not just the top floors.
Yeah. It's $36,591 for annex and courthouse. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, sir. Is that's full coverage or that's just the maintenance?
That also includes the maintaining the control system at the annex as well.
Yeah.
Okay?
But I mean, are we talking about full coverage? Is there two different pricings here? Full coverage and
We
just?
do offer two different, I believe, Landon, did you?
That's the basic.
This is a
That's
basic,
the
so it's
basic.
preventative maintenance, yes, sir.
For carry services, their full coverage for the annex and courthouse is 30,970. 940, I'm sorry, can't read my own handwriting. And then the Johnson controls for the full coverage is 36,591. You want to know the amount for the partial coverage for carry services for the two?
Sure.
$15,360 for the partial coverage. Right at half of the full coverage for courthouse and annex.
Knowing the cost of those systems, I think the full coverage is a better way to go.
We don't have a service charge either.
Right. With the carry services, you'll have an additional charge from Johnson Controls for the controls at the annex. That's proprietary. For whatever maintenances need to be done on those.
So are y'all discussing this to start this year? Because this isn't budgeted for this year, so for the 2025 budget year. Which is also like,
I would
it
think
would
the
be in
2025.
2025. So will these prices still be good for that? time period?
When does that budget year start?
January, we're on the calendar year.
Oh,
No.
we would need to read,
Okay.
but
Is that,
Ours will be fine. We'll hold it.
Well, you have the first 3 years there.
well, that was for the full.
Full.
Three. The-
How much maintenance have you had to get Johnson Controls to do on those controls at the annex? Todd, is that something that's ongoing or is it just ever so often?
Yeah, when the system was first put in, we ended up with some pretty big problems.
Yeah.
One of them was the evaporator, which they said was probably a manufacturer problem. We had to have that replaced. And there's been different things here and there, but it hasn't been like constant. So, Johnson Controls they took the service calls and did some of that, and some of it I even had a local electrician come in and help out. So,
I'd like to say, we'd like to dig into the system because we can get a lot of parts and pieces. But ultimately, they do have you locked in with a proprietary system. So we can help where we can. And we'd love to talk to Todd about that, how that is. I don't know exactly how the system's set up, but
So we're not gonna start this more than likely until the first of the year, so. Maybe y'all can all work this out with Todd and give us a view of what the cost would be for 25. We also had a squirrel problem with that, because we couldn't figure out what was part of the problem over there.
There was actually a bad
Electricity.
transformer over there. We didn't know it was bad until we saw the oil leaking out of it. But actually, what I discovered recently was a big part of my electrical problems was the squirrel cage itself. It was cracked and broken. You couldn't see it if you're not actually looking at it while you flip it on. And what happened was where it was cracked, it was pulling up and putting a lot of bind on the motor. And that was giving me burned up wires and everything else. I've got that correct. They came and did part of it. They They came and fused the parts of the squirrel cage back together, and then I put a bracket on the other part. So we're good there. I think we're done with that electrical problem and with the transformer. So,
I assume that during maintenance, you guys would find something like that pretty quick with something that's happening with the squirrel cage.
There is 3 years for the Johnson controls.
Yeah.
It's 36,591 first year, 39,519 second year, 42,681 for year 3, but you said that's negotiable.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good start. Look into it.
So good. Further,
Your full coverage for Johnson Controls covers the compressors, electronics, whatever goes wrong. Full replacement if needed.
This was basic preventative. I thought
Yes,
that's what he said was basic, this was basic preventative.
They have both.
We have both.
We were looking at, the judge has it on his
The
phone.
36,591 is the basic preventative,
Is
right?
that what it is?
preventative maintenance services. Yeah. It's just preventative maintenance on that agreement that you sent for the annex and courthouse, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You've got the numbers for the full coverage.
We can get those, yes, sir.
You don't even have them, Todd, at this time.
He never was.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know if I sent that on to the judge or not.
Okay, now, if they had presented it. Are you gonna need more time to present something for, if it's a 2025 budget year for January?
Yeah, we can work on that.
Yeah, I think we're
Next
talking
coming
about that
weeks.
pretty quick.
I'd like to look at the control system as well and see what we can do.
Okay.
And then we can submit. So just to be clear, our PC was the 19 and our full coverage is the
Right.
30.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And, but yes, we can revisit that here in the coming weeks and get that to you for January 1. You bet.
Okay. All right, we'll get your, for
Yes,
full
sir.
coverage. Okay, thank you all, appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all really don't have to stay for the rest of the tour.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, appreciate all of y'all.
Thank you.
But you're missing out.
We're gonna come back to departmental budget reviews and do everything else first, which really isn't a lot, honestly. MOUs with school for use of buses in emergency situations in the city of Snyder, Scurry County Office of Emergency Management. This is just MOUs, memorandum of understanding between the school districts, that if we have an emergency and we need the buses, they're willing to provide the buses. They're wanting to get these back for their August meeting. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at them, but they're very basic. County attorneys looked at them. And so if y'all are good with it, then vote on it and go forward. But you never know if you're gonna need something like that, and it depends on where it's at as to whether we needed which buses, if we had an emergency.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we approve the MOUs with the schools for the use of buses in emergency situations and with the city of Snyder in the Scurry County Office of Emergency Management.
Second.
All in favor? All right. And I gotta tell you, Jay's been doing a great job, especially here with this last year. I'm really glad that that y'all approved us doing that. So grant resolution, this is a local park grant program, it's 50%. They'll pay 50%, we can pay 50%, and it is, in kind, if there's any in kind. I did give you a sheet that kind of shows what we're looking at, potentially. It's 3 different things. I didn't know if we wanted to do apply for all three or one or two or three, and Matt's gonna talk to us a little bit also about this. So there's pickleball courts, dog park, and North Park Amphitheater. So pickleball courts, there's been a lot of interest in pickleball. I've had people approach me and ask me about pickleball, and that would be, if we did anything, we were looking at maybe using where the skate park is now. It's not getting a lot of use with the equipment that we have. The equipment is old, and some of it can be used elsewhere. And then we would just turn that into pickleball courts. Got a quote on that for 8 courts. It was
57, I believe. 57.7.
And then the dog park, looking at maybe over, Great Dogtown.
30,000 or so.
And that's not including the fencing, or it is?
The fencing company hasn't came out yet.
Okay, all right. And the pickleball court does not include the fencing. It would be a short 3-foot fence around the outside and one across the middle. So, we're still waiting to find that out.
The fencing and lighting for pickleball.
Yeah, fencing and lighting. And then North Park Amphitheater, that is pretty cut and dry. That one's about 30,000.
30,000.
So.
And then we can make a parking lot next to it with our own supplies.
Right.
Equipment.
Time to apply is August 1st. You could put it together if you wanted to, or you don't if you want, however you want to handle this. Like I said, there's 3 different projects that Matt would like to see come up in the next period of time, either sooner or later.
It wouldn't be a lot, but I think pickleball, we can make some revenue off of that by renting out the paddles and balls. Same with Frisbee golf course. We could rent out Frisbee if the court would want to do that.
What is pickleball?
Tennis with a wiffle ball, basically. That's
The smaller court.
bare bones. It's a smaller court. It's a paddle.
It's like ping pong.
Like ping pong.
Yeah. Ping pong tennis.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and it's become extremely popular. It has.
Outdoor ping pong.
We do have, at least, I think there's 2 different groups that are playing. And they're using the tennis courts, and they're using, I think inside a church. The ones at the tennis courts are making the tennis players mad. So, this would be something that we could do for the community that would, they've gone and turned off the lights on it, so.
I had people approach me asking about pickleball. They're interested, and that skate park people don't use it. The news worn off on that, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, it's a big liability too.
Yeah.
So.
And looking into if we were to update that, skate park with newer equipment, it's about 300,000. Yeah, that's just the equipment, then coming, setting that new equipment on there.
So you're talking about renting the paddles out. How would you do that after hours? Because a lot of people are not gonna play till after 5.
Well, it'd have to be during the week. We couldn't do it on the weekends.
So they just bring their own paddle and balls on the weekends. So how you gonna enforce it? Would be my question. Them renting your paddle.
Bringing it back.
I mean, rather than bringing their own and going in there and playing. How do you enforce that?
Oh, well, I mean, they could bring their own if they'd like.
Okay.
Or come and rent,
Or
or
come
if they don't have the equipment. Which a lot of people are interested in playing that don't have their own equipment, so.
I saw the paddles in Walmart the other day, that's why I asked. Everybody that wants to play, buy it, but may not be.
Like I said, the dog park, that would be over at the, Prairie Dog Town was at one time. It would be fencing and then, like obstacle course.
Yeah, a lot of people walk their dogs through the parks. I just think that would be a great area for it. And plus,
You can taste the prairie dog ghost.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Don't let Larry Thompson close to it.
They do dog training too in that area, so.
Yeah.
That would be good.
North Park Amphitheater, talk about that one a little bit. There's a lot of things that happen up at North Park.
Yeah, I mean, there's Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July, I mean, so many things. So,
They have a festival in September, September 23rd.
Did you have a
September
cost on it?
16th. Yes.
Do what now?
Did you have a cost on it?
30,000,
Yes.
and that's
Thank you.
excluding the
Oh
electrical part. I'm still trying to get a hold on that.
That will be over 5,000.
Yeah, we have a pole right there, so I don't think it costs much for a 220 and a couple 110s.
So how big is the amphitheater?
We're looking at 20-foot square, I believe. And that's with the cement block behind it to keep the noise in the park.
Would that be close to where the sand pit volleyball is? Or?
No, sir, when you first,
Okay.
It's up
Somebody
there.
stole
It's-
mine.
Might have been me. It's on the other side of the roadway there.
It's okay.
Here you go.
Yeah, probably.
So that one there.
Okay.
So it would be,
You couldn't print this any smaller?
I could try.
yeah, currently there's nothing in that area, so it'd be a great spot for it, I think.
On the southeast corner, that plywood.
Yes, yes.
But it's close to the,
To the creek.
there's a pole right there. Yes, ma'am?
These numbers you're giving, the 57.7, is that the county's side? So the
That's
total
the
cost
total.
would be,
That's the total.
okay.
So
So if the grant pays 50/50, that's.
Right.
Part of the grant can count as in kind, so the work we do ourselves counts towards that.
How much do you say
The county
dog park was?
Roughly 30,000.
Is there jumps and things in it, or?
I
You know
don't,
what it is?
I didn't have anything printed out, John, I'm sorry, but
No.
it's a kit basically with jumps, a bench, and just some different obstacles.
Oh, the pyramid.
Poles.
Yeah. Down.
Oh, yeah.
Tunnel.
Like a little bridge that you can walk your dog on.
Lots of people that love their dog. That would work great.
Shows kind of an idea.
Right. Okay.
Some of the things that could be there.
Artificial grass
No,
or real grass?
real grass, and it's irrigated, so,
It'll flush once in a while.
yeah.
I think artificial grass is done.
I'll keep on that. Would be outrageous, I think.
So what total are we looking at for the three projects?
I don't have a total number, so, I mean, 57.7 for the pickleball.
30 for the dog park and 30 for the,
Yeah, and plus lighting and then fencing, we don't have all of that. We don't have all of that.
About 120, 125. But was there a limit on the grant?
it's 300,000.
Okay, so yeah. we're
More
easily
than
in
enough,
there.
I think.
We're easily in there. And we can help with the blading for the parking lot. We can fix that up for you real quick. Awesome. Get some in kind there.
So we get to use the 23 FEMA rates.
I hope
We
they
get
go
to use
up.
the rates that are available at the time that y'all are doing the project. That's the rates that we used,
That's currently the 23 feet.
unless they update them again.
Yeah.
But,
Which is not usual.
no,
They
but this
usually
time
wait 5 years.
they updated them in 2019, then 2020, and 2023,
Didn't
so
they? The 2023 is a lot better.
it's a
Yeah,
good
it's
rate.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Is that a motion
Yes,
for one or all three or?
all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. We need some things for people to do that want to do it.
So this is just a motion to apply for the grant?
You have to do a resolution for it. Or to apply for it.
We got a resolution.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up being 150,000.
Potentially.
Yes. 35 gonna come from us?
In kind.
Well, you also get insight on that.
Well, I know,
It
Yeah.
doesn't, as long as your value of it comes up to half of that. So when y'all use the equipment, we have the FEMA rates of the equipment, plus all the labor and all that. That's why it's important when we have all of those forms.
just like the Texas.
Yeah, just like that. So it's not necessarily gonna be 75. You match that with your,
It kind
So
the county will be out some money, but it should be minimal compared to, I mean, this is a low grant. This is only 117,000. Well, right now without fencing and lighting, but.
Which if we get the lights, they can install the lights. I think the only thing that,
Surface mount, yeah, and then we'll have to have an electrician come in.
right. And then, y'all we can take hand scrapers and scrape off the concrete. Get lots of hours.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So, but there potentially there could be some funds that we have to expend out of it. And I think that could come out permanent improvements in this.
the only thing, let's just say that in-kind work covers it.
Mhm.
Only thing will be out is the labor.
Right.
And fuel.
Yes, sir.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you all. I will get to work. Fine.
Second's do the first, you better get.
I know. I need more numbers quickly.
I'll get them to you.
Let's go ahead and certify the revenue.
That's from last time.
Okay,
And-
both of them. Never mind.
Yeah, both of those
Okay.
from last, on the 16th.
All right, do you want to go ahead and do line item transfers and
Yeah.
budget amendments?
Okay, there are several. Line items, we have non-departmental, audit expense, 11,541.83, that was the final audit, general and liability, insurance, 5,377.22, because the premium went up, auto insurance, 2,448, also the premiums have gone up. And then the capital outlay, 4,758.29, coming out of the Delta warning, the postage meters, public officials, liability insurance, equipment, 1,200, other equipment and fuel and oil, totaling 24,125.34, just to clean up the lines. And then mine, auditor's office, office supply, $230.94, out of maintenance, repair, miscellaneous. This is to cover increased cost of ink for our printers.
Big spend.
DA's office, the witness expense, 2,042, out of education and training. Parks department, pool supplies, 2,000, out of pool repairs, 2,000 out of pool repairs. It was the snacks and stuff like that for the concession. They are going to do weekends through.
The middle of August. I
Yeah,
believe.
so normally they close at the period, and they're gonna continue doing the Saturday and Sunday, or just Saturday?
Saturday and Sunday.
So they're gonna need extra, concession stuff. I mean, people prefer to send their kid up there all day, they need, it's not healthy as food, but it's food, so.
That's a good idea.
Then precinct 3 road and bridge, operating supplies 10,000, out of fuel and oil, and this is for the tall and asphalt remover for the roads. Airport, cell phone expense, cell service, 608, out of communications. This was, he started getting his cell phone allowance this year, and it wasn't, we've had to fix the line so that it come out of the correct line. Budget amendments, this is Commissioner's Court. Commissioner Court Precinct 1, auto expense, 2,000, had to repair the 2009 pickup with 115,000 miles on the odometer. District Court, administrative expense, $800, she was over budget, this is paid for a fee, out of the judicial appellate fees that they're required to pay for annually. Tax collector, this is in capital over $20,000. That was the office remodel that the court had approved previously for the desks and the stuff like that, the carpet. And then the final one is the LA construction, $500 in administrative expense, and that's administering the bonds.
Make a motion to approve the line item transfers and budget amendments as presented.
Second, all in favor? Okay. And we'll go ahead and do the accounts payable.
Accounts payable is $1,661,812.07.
Let's pay the bills.
There we go.
All right, so, all in favor? And you don't get to leave yet. We're gonna go to,
Feel better.
departmental budget reviews, well, just the whole budget review, so let's move right into that. You can't leave either, Jay.
Once you said it, that's whenever.
No, you gotta be here, you gotta be here, come on.
This person wants the numbers, wants that. I'll see you later.
All right, see ya. Okay, so, you should have all received the numbers that were put out. Jana, I think was some numbers. Did y'all get those?
Yes.
Okay. So, no new revenue tax rate would be 0.5074. Notice and hearing limit is the same. Voter approval rate, tax rate is 0.5796. So with everything that we've gone over so far and everything that we have not gone over so far, it all fits within there at some point or another. We could even go up to 1.5 million in emergency reserves and still not get close to the voter approval rate. And that would be roughly, these are not exact numbers by any means whatsoever. There's still some more work to do. But we would, if we put 1.5 million in reserves, did everything that was requested, including the COLA and a 5% raise across the board, it would be around the 0.5574 rate. Having said that, there were some things that we wanted to go back over. We wanted to go back over the health department. You had questions about that, Jeff. Last meeting, is there any thoughts or questions over what we just discussed from the commissioners?
What would that bring us up to in emergency management? Emergency fund?
That would bring us up to, I think we had 2.5, that would bring us up to 4 million.
And that's still way below what we'd need if we had a disaster.
Correct.
If we have a 7 point anything earthquake.
I'll tell you what,
Even a
it's
6
much more than it was the other day, down on the bottom floor of this courthouse. I don't wanna be here.
I know.
I've never been scared during one.
You'd have been a people.
That day I
That
was.
was scary.
Imagine what it'd take to rebuild this courthouse.
Ms. Summers?
Could you repeat those tax rates, please?
No new revenue is 0.5074. Voter approval is 0.5796.
And you're talking about this reserve fund. At one point, you said 3 months for $1 million.
Never said that.
That's been said before because Mr. Williams was wanting to go up to 6 months at 6 million.
That's
So-
what we have said is 6 months. The recommended is 6 months of emergency reserve funds.
Okay, so when did that change? Because
That has
at
never
one-
changed.
It has changed because in the past you had said 3 months is what you were gonna have.
I have never said that. If you can show me where I did say that,
Okay, I
then
will.
I'll take a look at
Because
it.
I do have a note that Mr. Williams wanted 6 months at 6 million.
But
That's not commonsensical.
That's
I can't believe
what's
it.
discussed. So we're moving on. Let's go to the health department. If we, Angela, just so I am correct, Terry asked if we put 1.5 million in reserves. We currently have 2.5 in there, right? Currently. emergency reserves, I'm sorry, either one of you.
I'm sorry,
didn't
what, I
see you.
did not hear the question.
In emergency reserves, we currently have 2.5 million.
Yes, sir, I believe that is correct.
So if we were able to put 1.5 this year, that would be. Kyle, we were discussing your budget the other day and education and training and the, let me get there. Equipment over 5,000 were in question. And you looked at your education and training and decided to do 8,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm going yours fast, it's usually been 9, so I even went a little bit less than that to the 8. I think I can do it with that and get everything done.
And then we discussed the equipment over 10,000. And concern there is if your refrigerator goes out.
Well, I do not, I mean, I don't spend those unless I just absolutely have to. But this year we kind of ran into some problems. You know, the vaccine refrigerator is a high dollar item, and so is the generator. And so we've already, and they're old, you know. I don't know what those cost, but the upkeep on them is very expensive. And we've had some generator problems this year that I had to get fixed. I don't know the bill on that yet because I haven't gotten it, but those are my main pieces of equipment, maybe like the air conditioner unit, but the vaccine fridge and the generator is what I'm really worried about if I have to have a problem, you know, if I have to have trouble with that, because I have this year.
What part of the generator did you have a problem with? Was it the engine or was it the generator itself?
Well, we lost electricity, and so my generator had to run to keep the vaccine fridge cool. It was kind of a big ordeal, but it worked out, but it blew a fuse, and so they had to like come out and replace the fuse and like showed me how to kind of troubleshoot that because I wasn't aware of how to troubleshoot that. So, but yeah, it was all over a fuse.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought that was, actually had breakers, but you're talking about a fuse out at the generator.
Yeah, that's
itself?
what he said. Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But
No,
you-
all the breakers were good.
Okay. So you know how to replace that fuse? and
If
you
that
have one.
happens again, that particular error, yeah. And how to reset the code so it'll fire back up, because once it has that code in there, it won't, you can't start it. I tried starting it back, but you gotta clear it out in there, you know, and he showed me how to do that, so. And we're kind of lucked out with it just being that, and we got our vaccines transported, so we didn't lose anything. So that worked out good, but I'm scared now, you know.
Yeah.
You okay with that? Cutting the 8,000 and leaving that in there?
I just wanted an explanation for it.
Okay. Got it.
Did the mechanic, did he believe that the generator was old enough or had ran enough that it should be replaced?
No, he said it's in good shape, but I know it's, you know, probably at least a decade older, or older. But no, I get a service, so they come every 6 months and like, you know, change the oil and make sure the batteries are good and stuff. So, I keep that schedule, but he seemed to say everything was good, yeah. And it's been like it auto like runs once a week, so that always make sure that's on Wednesdays, that it's been firing up and running like it's supposed to, and it has been, so.
Thank you, Kyle. You don't have to stay any longer.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In maintenance, we increased that line. Go ahead and read it. The maintenance agreements, we increased it 46,500 in anticipation of whether we were gonna do this agreement with one of those companies or not. Still don't have an answer, a total answer, but, what other maintenance agreements do you have, Todd?
That's it.
That's it?
Only if we budget for it and we choose not to for whatever reason. You just, and then you spend.
You're right. What's that one, which maintenance? 10-6 what? Or 10-6?
Your maintenance.
What's your
line?
maintenance line item number?
510.
10.
Maintenance agreement? or-
No, ma'am, I was just the department number,
Oh.
sorry.
Sorry. I know that one by heart. I thought you wanted his actual, like, his maintenance line.
Sorry. So 35.8, no, I'm sorry. That's his utilities. Yeah, maintenance, repair, and miscellaneous expense, that's 35.8, and we put it at 83.3.
That would be based off of whatever notes, were turned in.
Yeah.
With, yeah, and I didn't bring my big book. It should be behind, in the 510 section there, behind. It's at 83.3 on his maintenance line. And says increase includes full coverage service agreement for the courthouse and its annex HVAC needs. It also includes an additional increase to cover any of the other aging units that may need to be replaced. So that was the reason of the increase on there.
So do you want to leave it at that, or do you want to make any changes?
No budget for it, well, it creates a budget amendment when something, if it doesn't need all of it, well, it's been.
Those units on this courthouse,
They're aging.
that was 2006 or 7, I think. I always put those on here.
Any more questions for Todd? Thank you, Todd. Let's revisit the golf course. So last week when golf course was in here, we were talking about increasing the part-time so that he could have 4 part-time and 1 seasonal. And then talked about 20 carts and leasing a mower. However, since then, we've learned that Parks is going to give them a mower. So that will eliminate the need to purchase a mower or lease a mower. And we've just determined that you could house 16 carts instead of 20.
We're confident with 16 we have room for right now.
Okay.
And now, more members keep coming our way, or people who want to be there, they pay right then.
Yeah. And so the part-time increase, I increased it to 90,000 total. We can discuss that. The carts, and an extra page, got a set of papers here. It shows different amounts for different
On the
leases.
part-time, you went from 45 to 90?
Yes, sir. And that'll cover, and that'll keep him from working all the time. It'll cover 4 and a season.
And then there can be a schedule made where everybody gets 2 days a week off.
Yes.
There's no reason for anybody to not have 2 days a week off.
Right. True.
The carts which you're looking at there, everyone is breaking it down. Great news is this year, the lease doesn't end, this particular lease doesn't end until the end of September 2025.
and already the profit margin is 149%. The bad news is that's because the carts were so cheap 5 years ago. COVID changed prices on everything. What follows, the paperwork you have, is whether a fair market value lease or a lease plus one. And dealing with two companies here, EasyGo, which we currently have, fantastic service. A Yamaha, which we don't have, mediocre service, dealing with them on the phone, a much better price, and still a quality vehicle. All these are figured at 16 cars, and what you have from front to back is the existing lease. Then we go forward, you can see that yourself. And notice on very first page, that one bad year of 11,375 in rental carts sales. That's because the course was closed for 3 months. So I threw that number out of projecting the future and averaged the others. However, if you look at the bottom of page 1, that yearly rentals is only through July 28th, yesterday. It doesn't include the balance of the last year. So when you do that math, it's going to be very impressive, presuming things continue as they are. So to figure out the rest of the numbers, you'll see asterisks by them. What those are the 22,188, the 27,308, and the 20,622 from the first page, averaged together to figure out what the sales could be. Saying that, though, that'd be a low number because October 1st to 23 to July 28, 24, that's not the full year. The best scenario that I feel, I think Sid's in agreement with me, is leasing to buy. And we talked about that previously in a meeting. And the best scenario with that is with the Yamaha situation. Yamaha cars. And again, the projection is completely based on the existing numbers. So that's why you see that profit margin. Those first 5 years is only 5.6, but you're buying the carts, so it's straight profit from then on out for another 4 to 5 years with its carts. Is that right, Sid?
Yeah.
So you're still making money, you're just not making as much as you were, and then you're gonna have a bunch of money after that you're gonna be making at these low numbers. If that's clear as mud.
You said you didn't like Yamaha, their service?
Well, I'm just saying the service we have now is very good with EasyGo, but it's also much more expensive.
I think the Yamaha service would come out of Colorado City. So, I mean, at least they're close.
Yeah. Where does EasyGo come out of? Love it.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I think Yamaha's service rep is out of Colorado City.
But you're not gonna be you're not gonna be having them come out for every cart at one time. You know, you might have one go down and you need them to come and service it if it's a day.
I guess in the short time I've been there, that he's come out twice, once just introduce himself.
Yeah.
But no, it's never much short amount of time. It's not all of it at one time unless I ask him to.
Let's get bad fuel.
Yeah. Hope that doesn't happen again. So you're suggesting the Yamaha Quiet Tech gas car 60-month lease plus one, that way after that 60 months, they're ours and then it's just straight profit.
That's a yes, because at first you're going to be making money during the lease, just not what you're making now, which are ridiculous numbers. But afterwards, you're going to own them. You kind of own them and make straight money, and then turn around and sell them after 3 or 4 more years, and then get back in the leasing game. So theoretically, here in 5 years, when it comes time for car rentals, unless we want to add to the fleet, which we need to do, but we know the situation there doing that.
So these carts will last 10 years?
So
maintain just like your own vehicle, you change the oil.
So after 5 years, all the maintenance will be on Scurry County credit.
These are, these are like a lot of little lawnmower engines. We're not talking the big rigs that you guys deal with every day. These are checking the oil and spark plugs and, the tire here and the tire there.
What would you do with the rates? What would you want to do with the rates? Since it's going up 3 times, nearly 3 times. Would you want to keep the same rate or?
I don't think it hurt to raise the cart rental rate. The play rate's is a good rate. It's a cart rental. I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, to play 18 holes, it's $45 with a cart and 18 holes. You're gonna get, once you get above 50, people aren't gonna do it, in my opinion.
They want to keep it low enough for everybody to participate.
Yeah.
And right now, all children get to participate free of charge, 12 and under. They don't get to drive the cart because they don't have a license.
Okay.
And I would like to discuss in a future meeting, something for the seniors in the mornings. Give them a break to get out there.
How much is the lease on it?
Lease is $22,656
for the year?
Yes, ma'am. If that's going with the 60 plus 1.
That's the last page you have there, Angel.
It's currently 85.44. So with that, actually, from the original request for this, that part of the budget goes down.
But from the lease and rentals will go down?
Yeah, because what do you have showing total?
103,500.
Yeah, it'll go.
Does that included the lawnmower?
Correct.
That amount that had the lawnmower on it?
Latest. It'll go down to 66,657, which is an increase of about 14,000 over last year.
Is that including continuing to pay through?
The other leases that we
Yeah.
currently have, yes, ma'am. And like I said, raising their part-time to 90,000. And then the other lines, and I don't look at this line on that. That's actually about 14,000.
On the cell service, don't we just only get 60 a month, or is that already set?
His, hold on, let me go to
His is different. His is through Straight Talk, isn't it?
Yeah, his is through, we pay a cell phone bill for him.
Yeah.
We don't, he doesn't get the allowance. We pay his actual bill. So that's why it's less. It's the 450 instead of 600.
It doesn't go through payroll, it goes through.
It's a payables bill that we pay.
Well, no, but this one's wanting it to be $1,950.
That's because it put in that text service.
What are you, what? Oh, I don't think you're looking at the newest one that I just sent y'all this morning. Okay, so he had, he requested also to have 1,500 into a communications line, and it is for a monthly texting service. So on the one that I emailed y'all this morning, it has a 4,200 line on there, which is communications for $1,500. And then in the cell service line, $450 for his monthly cell phone.
I have that extra phone still, active. Just
How do you
FYI.
have it?
Huh?
How do you have it? Are you
Just still sitting in my office.
You're still paying for it?
No, it's only been 2 months.
Is it the one I?
It saves you some money.
And what was the capital expenditure for the 120,000? And the 5,000 plus, what were we gonna buy?
That is, new bathroom, a computer for the
I don't even
office,
get it in one.
repair on the concrete cart paths, and 2 new cart shed doors. Which if you've been to the bathroom out there,
Yes.
You want a cell phone?
and that's looking at one of the containers.
And you're gonna get the, like you did out here?
Y'all are good with that, like a container, like that's out.
We're gonna look into it, yeah.
Good thing to have to set up.
Just refreshing my memory.
Absolutely.
You need a tornado toilet.
Okay, I'm done.
Any other questions on golf course?
Are you routinely running out of rental cars? And how, that's why you said 20, right?
Yes.
And the only reason it's 16 is because you don't have a place to put them?
Correct.
How hard could it be to get one of these sheds that they come and put up for 4 cars? And I mean, if the more cars you rent, the more money you make.
Yeah, exactly. And a couple different ways to think about that. One is if you just kind of just piecemealing it, you're gonna, I feel it anyway, you'd be spending more than you want to spend. Whereas if we were able to create one larger, this is just one, that would hold upwards of 40 carts, ultimately, not straight away. But if we keep just adding and adding and adding, those dollar signs are gonna get higher and higher and higher and higher.
Sure, and I'll get one that will hold the carts you got. You need.
Get one what?
You're talking about a cover?
Well, it has to be enclosed.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah, enclosed, I mean.
Well, they can close those.
The issue you get into is if we have to go through the same process with even a small building, which I believe we do like we do the EMS.
Right.
So you have those engineering expenses and all of that that go along.
You mean you can't buy one of these sheds that are enclosed? I mean, because they enclose them as well. That they come out and put up.
I'll have, when I asked about, like Sweetwater still has engineered buildings.
Yes.
The answer is yes, you still have to go through a similar process. It's because there's like 6 different ways that you can build, right? That counties can build.
Gotcha.
We chose one way, but to go that direction, you still have to go through
I
a
understand the
similar
EMS, but
process.
my gracious, we're talking about housing carts.
I understand that too, but let me verify.
They won't allow it.
Yeah, let me verify with,
I say,
Mike.
That's what we've looked into, and that's what we need to verify.
I say you do it and get forgiveness.
Yeah.
I mean.
Let me verify
that.
Well, it's kind of like I mean, if we added on at our precincts to our equipment shed, I'm not asking you.
No, ma'am,
I don't have an equipment shed to begin with, but if I had one, I wouldn't ask you to build one.
You're not asking me.
He's trying to keep you out of this law, right? Yeah.
Let me check with county attorney.
That's so weird.
I will get you an answer.
I mean, I understand EMS.
Yeah.
That's a
Health
structure,
unit.
that's a building.
We're
not a
talking about housing some cars.
Well, we were discussing that with, if we wanted to put a cover out there for events,
Yeah,
Still gotta
well,
go through that
people
process.
are gonna be into that. I can understand that.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. Of course, you've gotta have a person that goes out there and goes on my gracious, engineer too.
Let me check with Mike to
Mine
verify
have
on
been
that.
through straight winds, and everything else out there. They're not gonna, but it's okay. I understand your position. I do. I think we want to stay right.
Yeah.
As
And
much as
that can be a goal. I mean, that's something that we need to do out there. We're gonna,
Yeah, because if we free up the 16 cart sheds that we have, we can rent out those vendors. And that's where we're at right now. We're out of cart sheds.
And those bring in quite a bit of money every year. Those car sheds rentals.
cart sheds per month or yearly is $500.
For each.
So 500, yeah.
I thought it was 1,000.
No, the membership is the cart sheds. Cart sheds are 600 a year.
Yeah, 600.
600 a year.
I think we went up.
So 50 a month.
Yeah,
For each one.
yeah, 50 months. Plus, would get that if you had to go through the governor and build it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we'd have our, just like a barn, and you put 40, 50 in there, that would be owned by the county, and they're gonna be gas, so minimal electricity, and that'd be safe and contained.
Right.
And then, like Sid said, the existing cart sheds, rent those back out, and so you're, adds up.
It does.
Okay, any other questions or concerns for the golf course?
Bill, your raise you put in.
Sorry?
The raise you put in for yourself.
Well, that is null and void now, because we're talking about doing so many part-timers that it's not, don't get me wrong.
That's what I thought, but I'm just making sure.
Yeah, that was straightened back out to where it's
But you would still get a raise.
in line with everybody else.
Well, yeah, but the same what everybody else.
Right, yes.
And a fire.
That's what they talked about.
If that's what's approved.
If court votes to do that,
Yeah.
yes.
By the way, people have said, even people 30, 40 years of membership out there, even whenever the country club was there, said that they've never seen it so good. That's what it was this last weekend. They were amazed. Made me feel proud.
Thank you.
Year-to-date cart
They said
sheds.
that about the ambulance service.
Those are kind of hard to tell because in code, before I started here, when they went to Encode, they used 2Pro to do the managing, and the way that they did the billing, it's kind of janky.
Right.
So I'm going to change it starting for January. There will be a cart shed rentals line, then there will be a cart rentals line, and there will be a green fees line. Because
Gotcha.
currently in Encode, it's green fees and cart rentals go together. And
Gotcha.
then, so you have to look at the square report to be able to tell what is cart
Yeah.
rentals, what is,
And these numbers that you have are strictly cart rentals.
Okay.
Whether 9 holes or 18.
Right.
And we do 2-to-1 9 holes over 18, just so you know.
Yeah, so 27,000 last year, 20,000 so far this year, just in cart rentals.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay,
And closed 3 weeks for the cart paths.
yes,
Amazing.
yes. All right, anything else for the golf course? Y'all okay with the budget for the golf course?
Like I said, I'm just making sure. I thought we talked about that.
Yes.
Okay. Because, I mean,
just a reminder on adding the part-time, and that means that when it goes into effect, he shouldn't be getting, then he will have an equal of 2 employees, 2
Right.
full-time employees, so then he doesn't fall under where he gets comp time anymore.
Right.
He is the salaried, no matter how many hours he works, that's the pay he gets.
You understand that, Bill?
Yes. That's kind of what I was used to.
Okay, what you're hoping
In
for?
previous life.
All right. All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's go to the parks. So, with parks, an increase in ground supplies of 6,000, 2,800 for park tires, 30,000 for contract labor, park maintenance, 7,500, pool repairs, 118,000, community center expense went down 6,000, capital outlays, 227,000, and equipment under 1,000 is up 5,000. So total increase of $390,372 roughly. Capital outlay, that's gonna be a batwing mower, 2 Kubota trucksters, stove at the armory, and that includes the, was it 50,000 for the skid steer from precinct 2. And then, they wanna do, capital projects that would be under Fund 29 for 30,000. It's the lights at Winston and Kate's Fields upgrades. So
Capital improvements, correct?
Actually,
That one, that is under Fund 29. It's not on that. You'll have to look at a different one. It's under Fund 29, 660, 5710.
Right, that 30,000 is.
Yeah, that's what I saying.
what was the cost at Winston?
Between the two, it was 15,000 each. So 30,000 for both is what,
Okay, 15 is taking down the existing poles.
okay?
What was the other 15 for?
The pole over there.
Yeah, taking down.
North part needs to be taken down too.
So it's taking down and putting up new lights at Winston? Putting up new lights at Winston?
We didn't budget for that or anything. We just wanted to get the poles from killing somebody.
Yeah, the danger,
Yeah.
but there was two things. It
We
was
just
taking
had
down
the
the
main
poles
line
and,
fall over for no reason last week, 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
currently at Winston, we have a light that's hanging on by a wire. And so we basically closed the ball field down to keep everybody off of it.
Until we can get that taken care of.
It's pretty important. And that's with us keeping the poles and disposing ourselves.
That was primary cost to get rid of them, take them
Oh,
down.
Just take them down.
Okay. And what were you gonna do at Catesville?
There's a transformer there fixing to fall over, but there's some poles there too. I don't know how bad a condition they are.
So the electric company isn't responsible for a pole with the transformer?
The one transformer would be, I guess, but most of that is the park stuff.
Yeah, we own the poles.
Oh, with the transformer. I'll be.
It must have happened in the 50s or 60s.
On the bat ones, I was asking for 2 of those.
But you don't have any thoughts of putting lights back
We didn't talk about that yet because of the,
going forward?
how much it's gonna be and,
It'd be a lot of money.
and right now we're having problems at the ball fields.
Gotcha.
At the playing ball fields, at the Toll Park, that's the ones that need to be addressed first.
Right.
Before we get lights over there, I think they were talking about, why didn't we do Moffitt or softball? And Musco really got the upper hand on what's going on at Moffitt.
I'm repairing our relationship with Usco. They're the ones that are actually gonna come out and give us a bid on the lighting for the pickleball courts. And, I'm gonna ask too, what it would cost to replace those lights at Moffitt.
Because everything we have is obsolete compared to lighting now,
Sure.
and efficiency especially.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
The wire runs up in the pole and nobody will touch it. So,
Because the poles belong to them.
All the plugs belong to this company.
Musco.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Wow.
And if the poles are still good there, all they have to do is do the crossbars and put the new stuff up. And so that's, most of the cost is the poles.
Well, we got some bids on LED lighting before for some of the fields and
it's a lot of money.
What, $500,000?
they were very expensive.
So your ground supplies, that's just expenses going up, and park tires, expenses going up,
Right.
I'm assuming. Contract labor, that was up 30,000, but at the, do you remember what that was?
For that thing.
Of 30,000. Yeah, and that's excluding the power being ran to it, which shouldn't cost more than 5,
What was it, I'm sorry?
I would believe. 30,000,
For what? Remind me.
the amphitheater.
Amphitheater. Oh, okay.
And if y'all get the grant, that helps.
Gotcha, okay. Park maintenance, that's just expenses. Pool repairs, you were talking about the,
So the company that manufactured these filters, every 10 to 15 years, we have to have the sand replaced. We're due. And the company that built these filters are no longer in business. They had a lot of recalls on valves. which our valve's leaking on it right now, our backwash valve. We could have a company come in and change out the sand, but there's a really good chance they might break a lateral, and if they do, we're shutting down the pool. That would be a really bad thing. So this company, Aquarec, we've done lots of business with them. They installed and maintain our acid and chlorine feeders, and they said that replacing the filters, they would take the old ones out, put the new ones in, all brand new Schedule 80 piping for $85,000. It's a lot of money, but it's necessary.
And then let's talk about capital outlay. Batwing mower, 2 Kubota trucksters, the stove at the armory, and the skid steer. Did you get a lease price on the
I went
Batwing?
up to Southern Implements, and they said they wouldn't lease
The Batwing?
the Batwing or the Gators because of the high use.
Okay.
Our Batwings, the anti-scalp oils are completely just leveled off right now with the deck. We're having to change out spindles and belts and it's just pulleys, and they're in really bad shape. I'd like to have 2, that way, right now we have a Woods Batwing and a Land Pride. The Land Pride's a 2011 and the Woods is 2018, so they've outlived their life expectancy. And
Maintenance on them is as much as payments on a new one, I would think.
yeah,
You said belts. Is that this Batwing some type
so
of special?
usually when a spindle or a pulley goes out, it'll tear up the belt.
And they get out of whack. There's several pulleys on them, and if one of them gets wore out, it starts wearing on the belts
Yeah,
faster.
these aren't like what we use out there.
No, y'all's dry shaft all the way.
Yeah, I mean, why aren't y'all's?
It's, ours are finishing mowers.
Okay,
Y'all's is cutting
You do.
logs,
yeah, you do have.
dumped off mattresses, couches. We're just a McDonald's paper, Taco Bell paper, cans, water bottles.
But they don't, there's no one that makes a Batwing that's just straight, drive line for that type of.
We've looked
Is
into
that
it,
right?
not that we can see.
It's all belt
It's all
drive,
belt drive, gotcha.
because it spins faster.
Yeah.
Higher RPM.
Okay.
So they gave us a bid on those and they were $26,700 each. And then a bush hog, it's an 8-foot bush hog. We don't have anything to cut the fire lane out at the nature trail right now. We're using a finished mower, which is not good. But that's all we have.
That's why I was wanting that for drive.
Yeah.
It'd be a PTO
Yes.
all the way. Mesquite trees, bear grass.
That bush hogs, they quoted 12.5 on that.
How many Batwings?
2.
2.
Right now, we have a Land Pride and Woods, and anytime we order a spindle or a belt, I mean, it's a different one for each one, so it'd be nice to have 2 of the same, easier to order parts.
We'd have a spare if anything broke down of the same kind. Because Land Pride comes from California and I don't know, Woods, I guess the John Deere products, so Ohio maybe. But shipping too, they say they don't do that to us, but I'm sure there's shipping involved there somehow.
Much weight.
But Woods is through Southwest Implements, so that knock out the shipping.
Yeah.
Just they deliver it to them.
Did you say $12,500 for a Batwing, bush hog Batwing?
No, it's
It's an 8-foot.
8-foot.
The Batwings are 26.7.
Are you kidding me? Has things gone up or what?
They're expensive.
Every price one yoke for a drive line. Just the yoke are $800 a piece.
Oh, I just.
It used to be.
Oh, it used to be.
It used to be the yoke. The yoke got up to 12.
So the two back ways. Do we know it well? Being 53.
They're by board, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Down here.
Uh-huh.
So what are you gonna do with your two old ones? I know one of them's going to golf course. Correct.
That's a different one. That's the fairway mower.
That's fairway mower.
But you're finishing mowers that
Yeah.
you want to replace.
There's one we need to just retire completely. That's the Land Pride in the woods. I guess we can have it for a spare. We have 3 tractors we can run them on, so that'd be super nice to have.
Not enough.
Until it wears out completely.
But if it don't rain no more, we don't really need them.
Only if you put water in too.
Cause I can't keep the pond full enough to keep enough grass, everything burned up
So
on
they
me.
won't trade those, I mean, do you something for them?
No, they're so worn out. They're bad.
So your back wing you got now, that is warping out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Constantly working on them, keep them going.
What are you gonna do with it?
Pull in the bullpen and take off the washers or whatever else bearings we can take off of it.
Scrap iron.
Cause the new woods will be almost close. Scrap iron would be a good idea. But the drive shafts, like I said, we could use one of those if something happened to a new one or whatever. They should be interchangeable. Cause they're both woods and Frontier. Like the same thing, they just get beefier, then our tractors get smaller. Cause the first one we had was really lightweight. But now they're hosses, it looks like. They get thicker and thicker. Cause the parts that wear out on them, I guess, they figured that out.
So what is the 30,000 on the contract labor? What is that for? Because it was 11,000. And some of these, I don't have I don't have these same numbers in here. So those are not, the numbers that I gave you this morning are not the same as these.
Oh, number one.
Like the capital, I didn't have that full amount. I had,
That was
134,622. And then contract labor, I have 11,000. What is the other 30 for?
So I think the 30 is for a handicap ramp at the
softball
Catesville.
That should be under permanent improvement.
Yeah, that's where that Catesfield was.
Yeah.
Maybe that was me putting it in 2 different places. I think I did. I will take that out of there.
I remember us discussing that, taking it out from improvements.
Yeah, because we put 30,000 in permanent improvements, 15, it's gonna be 15 and 15. 15 for Winston Field and 15 for Catesfield.
That's what I missed up. And done nothing with it more.
So actually, that 30 can be taken out.
Yeah.
Budget.
It'll just be 11 still, which
Yeah,
was not what was already there.
Do that right now. You said you needed two Kubotas.
Yeah, our gators currently are in really bad shape. You can't use the emergency brake and get off. They die instantly. The brakes don't work at all.
Okay.
And you can't order parts for them.
Park it on level ground.
Yeah.
Carry wheel chops with you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Find you a curb. Oh,
Fred Flintstone it.
Yeah. There's one you have to play with the PTO just to get it to start. The gears and everything are all out of whack.
so what age are the ones y'all have now? Your model was.
I don't have that with me.
The oldest one's 14 years, 2008 or 6, wasn't it?
As long as I've been there, 15 years.
No.
I think we've bought one since.
Yeah, our newest one's probably 6, 7 years old now.
So we have 3 of them.
But are you talking about leasing the Kubotas or buying them?
Buying them.
They wouldn't do a lease.
Wouldn't do a lease, yeah.
And you said Deer would do.
That would be United Ag, so I wouldn't know if they would. So it's not farm equipment considered, those Pro Gators are considered, turf.
Recreational.
Yeah, turf. They have two branches. One's for farmers and one's for golf courses, parks, homes.
So my numbers on that other were wrong. It's 134,622.
Okay.
And wait a minute, that does not include the new stove though, at 5,000.
Okay, so 139,622.
Yes, ma'am.
And like during the 4th of July, the police department uses our stuff too.
Talk about the stove for a minute.
So that stove is as old as the building. And we've walked in a few times and the whole building's full of gas. The pilot's blown out.
Can't take you anywhere.
I know. Y'all should send me back to my office.
Nope.
So it's,
And I think the pilot's blown out because of corrosion. It's pretty old.
okay, and that's about 5,000 to replace.
But pilot should be able to be replaced on a commercial stove like that.
There's 6 or 7 on there.
Yeah, but
It's all stoves.
I think by the time you call somebody out to repair all that, I mean,
it'd be 5,000.
it'd be pretty
Yeah.
close.
We've been calling San Angelo Refrigeration. They charge us from mileage just to come and look at it.
Right.
Don't do nothing to it. So that and the thermocoupling on it, I guess it shuts up the main off. Isn't working properly either, or wouldn't have done that
Yeah.
to me. It should have.
Well, your thermocouple doesn't keep your pilot running though.
Whatever shuts the main gas off to the whole system.
Yeah.
I don't think that has one.
Oh, I got you.
You know,
Probably
like
not.
all the safety's on them now.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't cook nothing until you get everything just right.
What brand are you talking about purchasing? Viking or?
I actually have this prepared. It's a Cook-Right.
Is that the only one you looked at?
Yeah, it's an Amazon commercial gas stove.
And it had the 6 burners on it,
It's 4 burners with the hot plate, 36-inch.
the griddle.
What were the amount of ratings on it? How many people have reviewed it?
I don't see that on this.
Is this the same size as the other one that's in there?
Yeah. So
That's all I know.
the size is what we were concerned.
2, and it had the 2 ovens.
I just never heard of that product. And I mean, you don't want to spend $5,000 and get a subpar
And we don't know nothing about stoves, so
commercial.
we were just looking to see what we could get for
Sure.
stove.
Sure.
Just go buy a bunch of sterno cans.
Most word.
So,
They'll heat up a room, I know that.
so the stove, let's say you get the one you're talking about. What's it gonna cost to install it? Cause you.
It's all you do is hook up the gas. It's
All
on
you have to do
wheels.
is hook up the gas, so I guess,
Because
anyway.
us being a county, you have to have a license.
There you go again.
There's no fire, it's just gas.
What size is the
And
stove?
it's on rollers, you can
What
actually roll it
size
away
stove?
from the wall to clean it.
It's a 60.
60, okay, but this is it. On Amazon,
Yes, ma'am.
ratings are 2.7 out of 5.
Yikes. How many
That's a
reviews?
Cook-Right.
I mean, this was the best one that I could find that is the same in size and everything else. That's what I was going by.
36 manual griddle,
Might check
4 burner
around
hot
locally,
plates.
see if they can check around locally, see if
Different
anybody
Wolf
can
and
get
Viking.
one.
You know, Abilene Restaurant Supply.
Lubbock has restaurant supply as well.
So if you'll do that before next week,
Okay.
That way, if we needs to be adjusted here, we can.
Okay. Because if you get one Abilene, Lubbock, you've got somebody
To work on
to
it.
work on it. And that Amazon,
Nobody will touch it.
good luck.
We're just going by what's been in there for, because everybody uses the place, they know what they get when they come there.
Well,
The 2 stoves is what they usually the oven's what they usually use the most of.
you can, I mean, you go to Abilene or Lubbock, tell them what you got. They can get it.
And then somebody does that pancake cook-off, so that's what the griddle was for.
Yeah, Lions Club.
The Lions Club does it.
It's 60-inch is what it is, right?
Yes, sir.
4 burner and a griddle.
Yes, sir.
Griddle in the middle or
And
on the
two
side
stoves.
like it is now?
Now, the griddle's actually against the wall on the one now,
Yeah.
but this one would have been on the outside.
Okay.
Cause,
Just the opposite of what this one
uh-huh.
is.
Cause they use the griddle, I think, more than they do the stove.
So you have to have a left-hand person cooking pancakes.
Well, the way it was, the grease was against the wall. The grease pan.
I remember,
Yeah.
I went out there and we walked through all that.
Well, that was the concession stand. And this one's in the armory.
We didn't go in there.
Well, we cooked there last year. I cooked 60 hamburgers. It worked great there, but I understand your concern, especially if you can't get somebody to repair it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Amazon, you get good deals and whatnot, but
Like that.
you don't have anybody that can work on it. Why?
Exactly. Gonna have trouble all the time.
Do y'all want to make any changes to the
Anything
parks budget?
stoves, we don't know what's
good.
about.
Good. Everybody else good?
I just wanna make sure that we're gonna buy stuff if we get one.
Yeah.
Even if it costs more.
Yeah.
Want that.
Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, I don't know nothing about stoves.
Right. Let's go
Other
on
than the
to
glass tops. Wear out faster. Thank you.
See you guys.
So, yeah,
We'll go on to EMS.
Look what you
Well, you gotta deal with drama, don't you?
They think they live 10 miles from Houston.
I know.
10 miles from San Antonio.
Yeah.
So Jason came in and talked last week, but I wanted him to come back this week to kind of talk about what he's looking at. He's wanting to add an education coordinator, and he's discussed increasing the brackets for the current employees and for future employees, increasing it 10 to 15%. And then there were various changes throughout because of increases. But I'm gonna let Jason talk to, again, to the increase in the brackets and the education coordinator.
Okay.
I'm gonna step out for a moment.
Okay, I'll address those 2 items as requested. The brackets, we have entered into interesting area that I had talked to Doug and Sean about last year at one point. And where we're paying our medics less than what other ambulance services in our area. So I did a quick salary survey with a few services our size or towns our size, and came up with what they were mostly looking at the paramedic numbers of what we were doing. We had not adjusted our brackets other than the COLAs since 2010. In 2010, Nelda and I got together and we adjusted the employee brackets for EMT intermediate, EMT basic, and paramedic, and they have not been adjusted since that point. I went and looked at the salary schedule. I looked at the salary survey, and then went back and looked at our salary brackets that we currently have. And my goal was to increase that 10 on the low end and 15% on the high end in order to get our brackets within a competitive range. In 2010, we were at the highest Now we're at the lowest. We haven't, the COLAs had not adjusted the brackets significantly enough to meet the increase in salaries that the EMS occupation has demanded. And through services in our area, we have kind of on the losing end or on the lower end of those salary brackets. So I proposed in my budget to increase those brackets this year for 2025. And to basically able to hire people instead of them having to go. We're losing them based off of other animal services paying more elsewhere. The education coordinator, I have gone through 4 education coordinators. All of them but one quit completely and left. I've tried several different forms of education. We have basically 5 different education components. We have the AHA CPR stuff. We have the NAEMT education component. We have the EMT basic and advanced education components. And we have the continuing hourly CE program through the state of Texas. You can essentially break that up into 5 different people. And increasing those salary brackets will allow me to do those adjustments. And if we do those 5 different people, if we don't, then we put it all on one person. It just can't be done. I've tried that with the 3. One quit, and the other one that's still working here did it, but he did a little here and did a little there, and didn't really do great on any of his work, and kind of showed. So I've asked for an education coordinator for the past 3 or 4 years because I knew that the survivability of our staffing comes with local people, and we need to train local people with our EMT basic program and our advanced program. And according to the National Registry, it may end up they're doing away with the EMT basic program, and you may just have advanced and paramedics. We'll see if the state of Texas follows suit with that, but that's on the horizon. And so we would essentially have an advanced program. We got it up and running. We taught about 5 classes in cooperation with WTC through WTC on the Square, our college on the Square. And we had a pretty good program, but the responsibilities and the tasks that are associated with that was too much to do truck work plus off-duty stuff, and the employee quit completely and moved away.
Are these students that come from somewhere else? I mean, are they just here in Snyder?
Most of them were within our region. They weren't that far off. Over half of my staff were part of those EMT programs.
So they pay to go through your class?
Yeah, they paid to go through the class, and then we offered them jobs. Right now, I've got an EMT that I'm sponsoring through the state grant program that will end in December. And we're sponsoring her, and she actually lives in Abilene, and we're sponsoring her program. But we haven't hired her yet, and so it's guaranteed to get part-time, and then a full-time position if it comes open.
So do you think with your salary increase for education coordinator, do you think you can actually get local people to do all of it? I'm asking.
I think I can get an education coordinator locally. I don't know. It just depends on if somebody's on. So I've got part-time that might be interested that may move over here. And I've got a few full-time that might be interested that I would need to fill that full-time position with. But the brackets, essentially, we are outside our brackets on our salary schedule. And so the brackets, I'm not saying everybody's getting a raise for those brackets. It's not what I'm saying. Everybody's getting an adjustment based on those brackets. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the brackets need to be adjusted because they haven't been adjusted over 10 years. That's what I'm proposing, to get them back up when this happened in 2010, I told Nilda, I said, we gotta come up with something, because I was wrong in 2008 when I started the ambulance service, that I was too low in my wages. And so when we said, okay, yeah, we need to adjust it. And she helped me with that. And we did our research together, and we came up with the same data. And we adjusted and presented it to the court in 2010. That was outside budget, by the way. And then in budget session, I thought, this is a great opportunity. We need to probably look at this, because salaries are a big deal, as you guys know, as you're doing the salary survey. I said, so I'm gonna do a quick salary survey of my own and implement it as a potential change going into 2025 budget year. And those rates are in your budget books. So the education coordinator will be a tough position to fill because of all the education requirements that have to be met in order to fill that position. But I shut down my EMT basic program. I just couldn't do it.
Can you still get your CE hours online?
You can get CE hours online, and that's what we're doing. But some of those have to be in person now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we have to have so many in person, so many in local, so many online. The majority of them you can get online, and that's what the CE program is. Our local CE program for the state of Texas is to get those in-person CEs, and we have to maintain. So I get 12 a year is basically what we're going for. So, and that costs us a little bit of money to apply for, and so 2 years.
Right.
2-year certification on it. So those are why I'm asking for those in my budget. But I'm not, without an education coordinator, I'm not gonna continue the MT or advanced MT programs. There's just too much, there's too much work, too much paperwork now. It's a full-time position, so.
So between what's your salary service and for your EMTs and your paramedics?
Yes, sir.
10-15% is the difference in the bracket and what you currently pay now.
Yeah, difference in the current bracket to the new bracket.
Right.
And I put those numbers, so you have the 2024 and then you have the 2025 projected.
Mm-hmm.
You have the numbers for low and high and whatnot.
Right.
And that would bring us within the numbers where our salary schedule is currently. So we're currently, some of the employees are outside of the bracket. And this would.
On the bottom end.
Yeah, and so this would, so this would bring those employees back in the bracket and bring us back into compliance.
Okay, how far up in the bracket would it bring
them? Some pretty close. I mean, it'd be close. They bring them within bracket.
Well, no, but I'm talking about, you got your bracket, you got the highs and
the lows.
And the lows.
Yes, sir.
10-15% is gonna put them where in the bracket.
The middle tier or high tier
It'd
bracket?
be on the high tier. I'm sorry, it'd be right in the middle. Yeah, sorry, the middle. I'll have to look at the numbers again. I can meet with you afterwards and get that number.
But I didn't make that real clear when I was asking you.
So is that 10-15% including the COLA?
Mm-hmm.
Or not including? Above the COLA?
Yeah. But those are just the brackets. We're not talking about giving raises. We're just making brackets.
What's the total?
Technically, it would be a raise.
No, we're not adjusting salaries. I'm not adjusting the base salary. I'm sorry, Terry.
I just wonder what the total cost to get that back to where it needs to be.
I didn't figure the total cost as it said it was an adjustment. Yeah. I can figure.
If we do move those brackets though, we have to have the funds to go along with it.
Yep.
And I guess that's what I'm asking is, I know you say it's not a raise, but it is a raise.
So if you'll look up there, I did a breakdown with 5% only, with 10% only, with 15% only, and that's the bracket of up to 10% and up to 15%.
Can you get the name of that?
I can try,
It should be in color in your budget book.
and then if you add the education coordinator, so the total added to
It's
the,
in the back. Fine.
total added to the budget, if you did the education coordinator and the up to 15% bracket would be about 258,000. If you did 10%, it's 181,000 added to the budget. If you did not do the education coordinator, it's 138,000, roughly. These are,
Over last year.
yes.
You know, it's like the golf cart, really, only more importantly. Without education and home growing, you're not gonna have paramedics here. Yeah,
That's,
I mean, and if Lamesa and Andrews is paying more,
I can't keep up with Andrew.
you can't even start to keep up Andrews, can you?
They're hiring medics from Wyoming, and I mean, it's nuts over there. I don't even compete with them.
Wow.
But I don't even think I compete. I didn't put those in my salary schedule, my salary survey.
Yeah,
So Colorado City,
their salaries are high.
I don't compete with ours.
that's lower than.
Yeah, that's low. In my survey, I competed with Sweetwater, Big Spring, Lamesa, Andrews, Seminole.
Not Andrews.
I took Andrews out.
Oh, yeah.
But, there was a few others that I have it on a different sheet. On this current, that was when I first was doing it. The difference is 40,511.52 between the 2025 projected and my proposed. So in addition to the 2025 3.2% COLA, which would adjust the brackets, it would be an additional 40,511.52.
That's without considering the 5% that across the board. for
That's out,
everyone?
yeah, that's without the 5%. So it'd be, if you had the 5% there, it'd be lower.
Yeah.
The projected would be lower. Sure.
so Dan said, you said that the budget right now includes 3% COLA,
3.2 and 5%.
25%.
Yes, and it also includes, I put all the requests in there. So it includes all of the requests except for what was taken out before this meeting. So even those that we have not gone over yet, y'all's budgets, it includes those as well. So, yeah, it includes all of that.
So if you give your paramedics, well, if we do 5%, would another 5%, Jason, get them in the bracket?
That's what that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to add up the. It's possible. I mean, so not waste your time today and do the math. I can get back to you on it, but yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Which, I mean.
Because the original math figures were 2025 of 3.2% COLA, add 10, 15% on the low end and 15% on the high end. So yes, you're playing with you're still going to be just a tad short, but you're getting numbers right back where they need to be, or pretty close to it.
Right. Which, I get it. Okay.
Well, you and I had that, and Doug had that conversation about a year ago, and it was like, well, what are we gonna do? And we decided not to do nothing at the time, which worked until April hit, and then it didn't work. So,
Also, they don't have any capital expense this year.
No, because he has all that money in his Texas class.
Right.
Hey.
Can we use that for raises?
No, y'all specify that it's for capital. Y'all approve.
Nice, I like
Easy, Derek.
it. I know, I know.
So what do you want to do with Jason's requests?
I would like to see in the bracket, what,
Well, we're, next week, we are,
that's D-Day, I understand. So it's basically 5% plus the COLA, which is 8.2
across the board.
across the board.
It's fine, but who's supervisor, but I see what you're saying.
It's close down.
So what is COLA? 2.8,
3.2,
3.2?
but we figured a 5% raise for everyone plus the COLA, which is 8.2 total.
3.2 COLA, 5% raise, 8.2 total.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
I remember my math. Sometimes I think, you know. But Jason, I guess my question is, if you added, okay, for your EMTs, your paramedics, to get them in the bracket, okay, would 5% plus the 8.2 get them inside the bracket?
That'd be 13%.
Are you talking about doing that to each of his?
5% plus 8.2?
It'd be a total of 13.2%.
So the 10% over the COLA.
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm asking for on the low end. So, yeah.
Well, I was,
Well, we put the color in there, should put it in about the middle, right?
Yeah.
Because that give you 13.8.
13.2.
Yeah, it'd be in the middle. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. Essentially, it's a little shy from what I'm asking for, but pretty close to what I'm asking for. And the answer to your question, the difference is 15.9 between adding the 5% in.
so you lose people to surrounding counties.
I don't think with that adjustment I would. I think I could gain with that 13.2.
But as of right now, you are. As of right now.
I almost did. I was real close to doing it. And I did what we had talked about a while back and saved it. But as of right now, your starting wage for a paramedic is 60 to 62, 60 to 65,000, where it used to be 50 to 55. And those went up significantly. And so I've got some of my medics that have been here for 10 years making 66. So you see where my problem is at? So it's the same problem that everybody else in the county is dealing with.
You're gonna have, I mean, that's
So-
the same thing, all around in
So
all
it's
the offices.
It's a double-edged sword, right? So if I can still hire medics at 61, then, and they'll stay, I'm golden, I'm good. But I can't hire them where I used to hire them at 55, 56. So we're talking anywhere from a $5,000 to $10,000 difference from where the original brackets were to where I'm trying. That's why I'm asking for that increase.
But you think
I think
13.2?
I think it'll work. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I do know this. You don't think nothing about the ambulance service till you get it.
I think it'll work. That'll be a good adjustment. So, do 10 on one side, 13.2 on the other, it'd be great.
Okay, run that back.
Run that by me again?
Yeah.
The low end,
The low
The
end's
low
10.
end
Yeah.
is 10, the high,
The high end would be the
for the
13.2.
brackets, for the brackets, not for
Just
the,
Not
not
added together.
and not to each of the people, the brackets.
He said plus, I heard a
Yeah.
plus. He said the
Plus,
13
but he didn't
plus.
say it right.
No, it's one or the other.
It said 10 on the low end, 13.2 on the high end bracket.
We got it.
so is that what y'all wanna do?
We're gonna keep an
Don't
ambulance.
sound like we have a choice.
You always have a choice.
We staved off it.
Yeah, we can always.
Not the choice of anybody. would want.
No.
This community supports ambulance service, for sure.
Okay, education coordinator, yes or no?
I don't see how we're gonna be able to keep people here at a mediocre, that's where we're at. We're gonna be, if we do what we're talking about, without educating them here and them being a part of our service.
With the education coordinator, you keep the EMT and the paramedic classes.
Yeah, that would be part, you'd have to. That's the whole point of it. I mean, if you get rid of the education coordinator position, or if you don't even hire the education coordinator, then you're not doing the EMT basic class. It just can't be done. There's too much work. Now, we can do the AHA classes. We can figure out how to do the CE program. And we can get help, if we can get some help from my part-time medics, I can do the NREMT program, which bring in revenue, all those bring in revenue of some form or fashion in my miscellaneous line. So, but in order to do the education coordinator position, or the EMT basic program, or the EMT advanced program, and host a course here, you gotta have an education coordinator. Or you have an EMS director that does it, and the EMS director doesn't do his job or her job, and they do the education coordinator position. It's a twofold, because I've watched it both ways at other ambulance services, where the EMS director picks up the education component, but I've watched it happen. I can do the job, but I won't be doing the job as an EMS director. And so my job, my responsibility as an EMS director will fall, because I'm spending so much time in the education position just to keep staffing it. So
Yeah.
it's a give and take.
If somebody took that on and then just flat.
They wish they wouldn't have taken that on, I'll tell you that now. And that's a city run ambulance service that I was talking to. So, and if you get much bigger than Scurry County EMS, you have to have it. It's just part of it in order to maintain an education program in-house. If not, then you're coordinating elsewhere.
So basically what you would do, somebody wants to be EMT, you would train them.
If somebody wanted their EMT basic program, I would train them, yes. Yeah, I would train them here in Snyder Area Education Facility. And now I have to contact Sweetwater or Big Spring. Big Spring's starting to, hopefully, we don't know what's gonna happen there. South Plains College, I've sent a lot of EMTs to South Plains College.
Okay, what is the expense
Well,
that you incur
it goes,
right
yeah.
now doing that?
So you end up paying for their course. They have to pay for their course anyway. But the expenses and travel and waiting to get their program. So right now in an EMT course, to get an EMT, I essentially have to sponsor their program and then train them myself anyway.
So is you said you have to sponsor.
He's not hungry.
That duck just keeps running around and around and around.
I would have to sponsor them through like South Plains College or TSTC or something like
Is
that.
that simply a word or does it involve money?
No, it always involves money.
I know, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, how much is that? I don't, it's been a while since I've looked at those numbers. So,
But if somebody else is training them, even if you get some of them, you're gonna lose what you get. They're influencing them to stay with them.
there's a lot of advantages to training your own people, yes. Yeah, you get to kind of weed out some, and you get to train them with your train them to pass the test too, but train them with your protocols and your mindset.
And influence them to stay here.
Influence and get our culture into the program as well. There's lots of benefits.
Okay, I got one more question. Yes, I know it's 12:30. The only thing, I'm going back to the 13.2. That doesn't affect anything but their salary, correct, Angela?
Well, it affects the fringe. I mean, anything that's salary related affects all of that stuff. And then the, one smaller component of the insurance. But it affects the workers' comp, the retirement, the student, all of those related lines. But I think those were all in that
Yeah.
sheet too, with those reflections in there.
Well, pay me down, pay me later.
Yes, sir. That's true. Okay, y'all have anything else for Jason?
Give me a minute, I'll come up.
You have my phone number, you can call me anytime. Or stop by. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Thank you, Jason. There's just a few left. Do you want to do them now or break and come back?
Have
It's
at it.
just
Get after
precincts, and then I want to re-hit the emergency reserve, see what y'all want to do.
We also
Okay.
need to talk about the election administration. That one hasn't been discussed anymore. Did y'all?
Not today, but are y'all good with the election administrator?
Really, so
Yeah,
I,
I thought that's what we agreed the other week. When we did the.
We already agreed on
well, they
that.
haven't
That's what I
agreed or
have
done
notes.
nothing. I mean, they just discussed it. There's been no, until today, there's been no yes, no, nothing.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I need to know what to put in info.
I'm
Yeah, well,
probably-
yes.
They were on yes.
Yeah, well, that's what they all said, yes, they were good with it.
Okay,
On last Tuesday, yes, I was watching online.
Yeah.
Said none of that.
all right.
I was thinking we did.
Yeah, we did.
Who's permitted?
It wasn't last Tuesday. It was a couple of weeks ago.
I was like, I was
Yeah,
watching
it was a
last
couple of
Tuesday.
weeks
It was-
back.
No, it's been a few weeks ago, I wasn't here last.
Yeah, they were one of the first ones. They were the first ones, July
Yeah.
6th.
But there was nobody, like, I mean, everybody,
Everybody agreed on it, but they
but
didn't
it
vote.
wasn't.
But it local voted
the
until.
part of like
Yeah.
whittling down budgets or anything.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm waiting until I know
Absolutely.
facts, because I'm
Okay.
not creating.
My
something.
last question is gonna be, is there anything else that we want to discuss that we've already discussed?
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Little boys room.
all right, we'll go ahead and start with precinct 3.
Cut it off.
Okay, 2.
Do mine, I don't care.
I don't care either, I'm just gonna go down the line. All right, so let's start with yours. You wanted 2 more employees,
2 more employees.
and you had a lease payment, or you were looking at another lease payment, correct?
Yes, we approved that,
That's right,
so
yes. Okay, so with the 2 new employees, is there anything else that goes along with that?
vehicles. Because we don't have any money, any junk vehicles to give them.
Bicycle, e-bike.
Do that.
So, how
Get
many more you
more
got?
road
How many more employees you have right now?
Do what now?
How many more employees you have right now?
How many more? One.
Why do you think you need 2 more?
Because I've got 100 more miles than you do, 120 more miles than you.
I think you're right. I think you do need the people. You've got more, and the problem is that if they were all paved roads, like what I've got, it wouldn't be so bad.
That's where, well, I've said it and I'll say it again, we better start putting funds in for seal coating every year in every precinct till these roads are falling apart.
They are cracking like
You
crazy.
can't carry funds over, so unless you use them in that year, it doesn't do any good.
No. You just put in what you believe you'll need. And if you don't use it, it goes back.
I don't think you can afford what I think I need.
Uh,
My roads are so bad, I don't think we can afford that.
we're bad. I mean, cause we're behind the schedule. I mean, we should literally, since I've been here, start over at the beginning for the second time.
Yep.
So we've missed 2 cycles. They give these roads 5 to 7 years that they need to be resealed, that they need to be seal coated.
We were on a 5-year
No,
schedule.
you had missed it.
When I came in,
Based on how I understand.
Every road.
Every road.
Every road, 5 years.
Well, good luck with that.
Every.
Figures you are.
Okay, you can.
And then they go like next week, and most of these roads is wore out. You can only move it so much before it turns to powder and it's gone.
Yeah, even the good stuff, supposed good stuff from Laura, it's gonna be the same.
So that's the only thing I saw that in here was that we didn't put the vehicles,
What do you have in there now? Cause I'm showing a
Yes,
100,000 for that
100,000.
one outlay.
truck and the water trailer.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
So what do you want to do there?
So vehicles that you're talking about is the truck? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Are you talking about pickups?
a big truck and that, replacing that Peterbilt that I've got, that- and then the water trailer. That's what I've got in there now. We did the water trailer.
What's wrong with the water trailer?
It goes crooked, the brakes don't work on it, and it leaks.
They fixed it.
Get some water, well, you fix that. Then
Got 2 rolls of it, I've got 2 tubes of it.
JB Weld.
This is called water weld.
Really?
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
we used it on his, and then now I'm using it on mine. I think we're going to, one of these days, we're gonna get a call, and we're gonna have one broken in the middle of one of these roads.
That's the only thing that'll be holding it apart together is the water well?
It'll break right in front of that.
Because they're continually rusting out. Once they start, there's no stopping.
Okay, if you,
There's no front.
now, this is curiosity, so, you know, we have that milk truck at first.
Yes, and my guys got to see it the other day, and they want it. Because we were able to go twice as far as what these, like we've got now, but that milk truck, just, I've always loved that.
Well, 7,500 gallons or 8,000, but can you get one of them still?
I haven't seen one, I've looked, but I haven't seen one yet. And I asked Will about it, he didn't know.
The only drawback with that is it doesn't have any baffles in it.
No, you gotta pay attention,
No, he didn't.
but
What about a small water pool?
A what?
Small water pool.
A water pool?
So it's a tank, and on the front is a cab. It's got the sprayer nozzle stuff.
Oh, that's not very big enough. That won't, how many gallons it gonna hold?
how many gallons does the one that Doug and you have,
Or what, 100 barrels?
which is 42, what they call a barrel?
4,400 gallons, 4,200 gallons?
Actually, with water, that's almost as much as you can legally pull.
Oh, yeah, you can't get up and down the highway with it. I mean, I see what you're saying.
5,000
Yeah. You're 65,000 pounds of 8,000 gallons.
We
Just
drive so
water.
much all over the.
You're tearing your own roads up.
It's hard on cars, I think.
You don't want.
That's what I was thinking.
Cause we had, one time we had to go from the East County line going back to
get water.
To get water a long way.
Yeah. That'd be great in a local
Oh,
area, or if you had wells everywhere.
How much for new pickups?
the ones I bought last year were just under 50. Those were the new ones, and I think Doug bought a used one. I think it was around 34.
What kind?
It was,
You mean you bought this year?
yeah, I bought it this year.
F-150?
They were, no, cause Chevrolet was better deal than Ford. Ford would do work with us. They were, half ton. We got the crew cab.
1,500.
Do you need a crew cab for every person?
No, but that's what the deal was.
Oh.
That was what he considered Devin as a work pickup, just plain Jane and.
I bet you that's a special order, a single cab or a super cab.
Probably.
Everything.
I wouldn't wanna go back to a single cab.
Oh, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. But I just think about some of your guys are probably just driving back and forth from home from work.
Well, we've got diesel tanks in every one of them and we
That's
leave our
true.
blades out, so we're carrying diesel everywhere we go.
That's true.
You think they'll still be 50,
I don't know.
55?
I don't know, I'd have to talk to Devin. I would say 55 ought to be plenty.
Shouldn't go up more than that this year.
I hope not.
We want 2, 3/4 ton,
Half ton.
Do you
So
have
these
three?
we got, and these are, they're 4 cylinders, they're not the V8, they get pretty good gas mileage.
Don't you need 1 3/4 ton?
I've still got one.
Oh, do you?
I'll keep.
Well, I was gonna say, but if we get the zipper,
Yeah.
that's a pretty heavy haul with the water.
Cause everyone I've got, they sell Richards, just 3/4 ton. That's still not good, that's my own commission.
If it's not rough.
Oh, no, and 10 flat tires, pretty rough.
I'd actually been thinking about that too, trucks, that's one thing you can ask for. Okay, so column 55, that'll put it at 210 for your capital outlay. That, okay, y'all okay with that? Do you want to approve the 2 employees and the 2 pickups?
I just don't see how we cannot do that. With what he's got out there to deal with,
Yeah, that's, you know,
all those beachy roads, I don't
all
think.
that, and the equipment that he's got.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Okay, so that sounds like yes. Precinct 3, Doug, you get the last.
You've got enough.
What'd you say?
I said you got enough.
I'm not asking.
We're at 3, you're precinct 2.
Yeah.
Precinct 3, road materials, 55,000 more, and 130,000 in leases.
Let's back up just a second.
We're done with yours.
I got one. We're gonna get this zipper, do we need to go ahead and put that in our budget? If we go a ballpark, or are we just gonna take that out of,
Well, that would be,
I mean,
that would be
we
like,
need to pay for it we need it this year. If you're gonna,
That'd be a budget of $1 million.
yeah.
well, that's,
That comes out of y'all's reserves. Y'all's.
So ballpark figure what we
I have no
got.
idea what y'all, y'all, let's see, I'll tell you what it is.
While she's looking on that. 130,000 in new leases and 55,000 in road materials. 300.
The reason I have road material is that blade we bought in that thing. I didn't put my budget for it, I took it out of that.
Okay. I got you. For next year?
no, 5 years ago.
5 years ago. My point is, until this year, my budget hasn't went up because I took the lease out of
Out of your
road
road
material.
materials. Okay. Okay. What are your new leases?
$47, something like this.
And you're gonna sell one once you get that other one.
We'll sell that in.
What are you leasing?
Maintain.
2 of them? Anything else?
Because,
Do you have another lease ongoing?
Currently has one that ends
yes,
this year.
September,
Yeah, and then you'll have 2 new ones coming in.
but
Okay.
when I did that budget amendment for the one we got now.
Yeah.
I won't have that on the other one because it's not really trading because it's leased, but they're taking it back.
Right, okay.
And if I remember correctly, the lease payments were 47 something apiece.
The new lease payment, yes. They went up they went up from 20 something or 30,000 to.
The one we got now is 32,610, 56.
I'm assuming that the interest rate is up. Because we're paying 3.4.
Yes, it's 5 something.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of difference.
That, and the one we bought in 19 was 280, brand new. They're 4 1/4 now for the same shit.
Same shit.
And you don't get chrome moldboards because you can't find somebody to do chrome anymore.
Wow.
EPA,
EPA showed them.
Wow.
just like regular shops.
We're gonna have to get rid of the EPA.
I second that.
Bankrupt us.
Yeah.
So currently in Road and Bridge, Texas class and Texas pool funds, it's 1.573. That's what's in there right now. However, because y'all keep doing budget amendments, for the road material that, we haven't got the full TxDOT grant yet. That, I mean.
Well, you
until-
give that $500,000 yet?
Y'all haven't turned in y'all's papers yet that I can
You
submit.
can't say that about me.
I know, you did it last week when I'm doing budget stuff.
They're coming.
I've turned all mine in that I have,
Well, you're in the middle of
which
a
is
project.
not like theirs, yeah. Not like
I
theirs.
have,
There's a lot more.
and I can't submit it until I have it all, and then right now I'm not working on that at all, because I'm doing budget stuff,
I
so.
will bring you a stack in about a month.
Well, then it's gonna take, like, that's how long it's, I mean, when y'all bring them in, I get it in, but then it takes TxDOT a while to do it. So if it doesn't come back in this year, it doesn't help the money that's been spent out already this year, or budget amendment or whatever. It won't help until next year's.
Well, it's got to come in this year.
Not if y'all don't turn in
Next
your
year.
papers.
I'm just saying, if we don't turn in, we're gonna get it back anyway.
Because,
Well, it ends in March, but of next year, but yeah.
technically, that grant's out in August, but they said they gotta have it in March.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
But currently 1.57 is in Texas class and Texas pool reserves for Road and Bridge. That's only Road and Bridge.
So there's a lot of that from the grant.
No, this is money that's
This
been
just
in
money
there and
put
just
in there.
calculate. I mean, we haven't had to, thankfully, we haven't had to transfer money out for operating for Road and Bridge or anything like that, because we've been able to keep the bank balance part high enough where it's been able to take care of the payroll and stuff like that. We haven't, back a few years ago, we were having to do transfers out of Texas class or Texas pool into general or into the bank to be able to pay operating expenses for Road and Bridge and stuff like that. We haven't had to do that in a couple of years already, because we have the revenues coming in for, like, the tax collector's office has money for the what is that side on there, the road, the axle and all of that type of stuff, title type stuff that goes to Road and Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
It's
have.
the road and bridge fee. Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, the $10 road and bridge fee on Reg.
And that actually adds up to quite a bit. And then you have the one-time axle payment or lateral road payment and different things. So we haven't had to transfer anything out of Texas class or Texas pool. So that money's been able to stay there and continue to accrue interest, which is good. But
But we still hadn't seen a lot of money from TxDOT.
No, because I mean, I've only did one submission so far this year, well, two, but they were, one of them was only like 68,000.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very big.
So that double chip seal block line again.
It's not on your grant, you can't do it. It doesn't count if that's not on that grant paper.
They said rebuild road.
Are y'all good with precinct 3? Yes. Okay. Precinct 2, increase in office supplies a little bit, road materials 50,000, maintenance repairs 5,000, leases 34,000 up, capital outlay 31,000. Leases was the skid steer, right?
And a maintainer, because another one's going out.
Okay, and then the capital outlay is the equipment for the skid steer.
Right, I saw the motor and that graphic. And the 50,000 we get from house skid steer is gonna go either towards that equipment or the new skid steer.
Right, okay, so that's actually kind of cut, not in half, but
Pretty close.
pretty close.
What did you say your lease and your maintain was? Roughly.
Well, between both of those, it's $94,000. It was,
Was it 60?
Say it's 49, wasn't it, for the maintainer?
I don't remember, I got it in there in the office. Yeah, I think it was 49. No, it was more than that, it was like 64.
Yeah. See,
Mine
remember
was 49.
when,
64?
when he got,
Got all bells and whistles, doesn't it?
No, it's just like his. But you have Trey on here.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
that makes a difference.
and also when Craig did that, you remember that he didn't have what we got. And you got the next size bigger.
Well, that, and he didn't want the TP, which he should have got. And he just, but he's got all the bells and whistles on this next one that's coming.
Yeah, it has a DP on
The 772.
it. That's the bigger one.
Yeah.
Because there was only like 30 or 15 to 30,000 dollars in the difference of the price.
Yeah, but if I remember right, he got that bigger machine for the same money because Jared didn't have one. And he had that one. Because yours is the size bigger than what we got.
Y'all good with precinct 2?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, will be between the voter approval and the no new revenue. We're not gonna hit the no new revenue with everything that's financed for us, it's just not gonna happen. So we're somewhere in between, and the difference is gonna be whether we put 500,000, 1 million, or 1.5 million in the emergency reserve. What number do you want to put in there?
We've been doing a million that week.
No, we've done.
There was some corrections,
Okay.
because there's,
In 2020, we did 1 million, 2021, 500,000, 2022, 0, 2023, 500,000, 2024, 0. So there's 200,000 plus interest.
2 billion.
Yes, that word.
yes.
All right, so we put it at 3.5
million.
plus,
Yes, plus
Yes.
if we did the 1.5. The goal has always been to put some in there, and keep us ahead,
Oh, I agree.
depending on how much we can each year.
Right. I mean, I agree 100%, but we need to do it.
So we missed 2 years putting some in there,
Right.
which is $1 million.
Do what, Doug?
We missed 2 years. But
Right, we didn't put anything in there in 2022 or 2024. We put 1 million in 2020, 500,000 in 2021 and 2023.
So actually, if we don't put 1.5 million in, we're gonna miss another year, 25. We're gonna make up for the 2 years.
At 500,000, yeah. So it's about 2 pennies. I mean, That's about 2 pennies. If it were 0.5274 at half a million, it would be 0.5424 roughly. Don't quote me on these numbers because we don't have any of them set yet, but it would be, we don't have any of the numbers set yet.
That's why I'm telling y'all I need numbers for the,
Yes.
none of this stuff.
You will have numbers by, the 6th. No. August 6th. So that's about 2 pennies to go to add a million. So, and it keeps us, well below the, voter approval.
$1.5
Know what you want?
Is that what it is? What is it? He's asking what is it?
Yeah, what would it be if we did $1.5
I don't know the exact number right now. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's about 2 pennies. It's about 2 pennies. Voter approval is 0.5774, all right? Somewhere in the area.
It's what?
No.
0.507.
Yeah, I'm sorry, no.
No, voter.
Voter approval.
5796.
5796.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, yeah. I was looking at my, voter
Okay.
approval is 0.5796.
Okay.
That number we do know. No new revenue is 0.5074. We will be somewhere around 0.53 to 0.55.
So are y'all 1.55, what?
Put $1 million in there.
Agreed. All right, over all of the budgets that we've gone over, and we've gone over every department, is there anything you want to see different? Because what we say today is what my proposed is going to be.
My former pickup has 212,000 miles on it.
Okay.
I can only imagine what's gonna happen on that by 2025.
Okay.
I would like to buy a 3/4 ton pickup for him if that's something that y'all will agree to.
Terry's budget did not go up, it actually went down this year, so
Yeah.
just letting y'all know. So you.
Put in a 3/4 ton, poor guy.
To drag that trailer with.
Angel drives the one that you have
Well, yeah.
for a 1/4 ton.
How many miles you said?
Sorry,
How many miles you said?
212.
And we do need to start rotating our fleet out. It's getting old. How much do you want to put in there for that?
65 probably, because I'd like to go and probably just buy used diesel.
Y'all okay with that?
Some with the warranty.
I haven't tested it. You know it's not unless it's certified.
Get one.
But you really do, you see,
Gonna get one, get a new one.
I'm asking.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna pull that trailer. That's the only reason you would. I'm sure a gasoline engine would do it, but how long's it gonna, diesel's gonna last forever compared. We've got a diesel actually, but it's got 300,000 miles on it, or not more. That we got from the extension service after it was worn out. Nobody likes to drive it.
Speaking of extension service, when we
They've got
budgeted for his
another
truck, we put in 70,000 for his. budget.
Okay, well, better do that.
You wanna do 70?
Yeah.
Y'all okay with this? Don't want any last minute surprises?
No.
Y'all good? All right, I'm gonna take that as a yes.
So you put 70 on that one?
Yes, ma'am.
70?
Yes, ma'am, in capital for precinct 1. Dana, do you have anything?
Nothing on.
Okay.
The pickup, I was just here for the numbers.
There's a silver hour.
Have you tried it?
No, I never did. I mean, I wanted to try to do it once.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you all, appreciate it. Thank you for attending the marathon.
I'm I tried to buy it. I said, worse than you.
There you go, sir.
Well,
Yes.
I agree. You don't do that.